Bro, turn that shit up, man.
The following show is for mature audiences only. Shy City Sports.
Watch the tape, and when you see the tape, you know the tape doesn't lie, and there's just the tape doesn't lie.
To life.
And then back to the playing field with Aaron Rodgers doing what he did, you know, possibly having, I saw Thunder Girl say it, you know, they have contact tracing. I've had to deal with that myself. Our kids had to be, remember when Tate had COVID, we all had to be quarantined. All the kids, anybody that came. So our players had to be shut down. You're talking about a flag football team. This is the fucking NFL. What are we doing? This guy he's shaking Matt Nagy's hand after that game. Is that how Nagy got it? All of that should be traced back. They should be suspended.
Oh.
They should forfeit 8 games. I don't care.
Yeah.
You're allowing this to happen. And the head coach, did you see him?
I didn't see his.
He takes no ownership of it. It's an embarrassment.
Yeah. But if it was the Patriots, Goodell would have fucking shoved the rule book up their ass. You know, it's like he has a hard on for certain teams. And
the Packers
seem to be, like you said, Phil,
darlings. That's all. Just hashtag darlings every Sunday. They get every fucking call. It's not like I'm jealous. I am a fucking competitor. Like you should have seen me tonight. I'm just that built that way. I'm not going to lose with someone cheating. It's not okay with me. He said, again, from somebody, I push back. Like, no, you don't keep a shitty teacher in the class because he's established a course. What do you call that? A syllabus that you stand by. Hey, this syllabus really works. I know he sucks at teaching, but let's keep it because this has been working and we've been making money off of it. That's a loser's mentality. I want someone in here that's going to make Justin Fields better. Not, he's now learning a shitty offense in year 2. Can you imagine? That is the dumbest fucking franchise. I would be tempted to be done. Like, I don't even know how to feel if you keep continuing in an abusive marriage. It's like the definition of crazy here. It's not working. Nagy is the worst coach. In Caden's Open, they're all taking shots at him. Everybody in Connecticut is taking shots. People that don't even know fucking the Bears are taking shots at Nagy. Anybody with a brain can see Justin Fields is the most talented quarterback we have had since I can remember. You know who's holding him back? Nagy. Shayne's personnel. Would you sign Allen Robinson on this fucking team? Are you fucking signing Allen Robinson for this team in the future? No.
No way.
No fucking trotting out there, jogging, not blocking, not caring. I need players that are gonna go out there and fucking do everything in their power to win. There's a kid on this football team I will never question ever. And that's a new kid, 17, goes out there, owns it every fucking play. He's fucking probably gonna get hurt, but he goes full speed every fucking time. I'm trying to find him loafing. He does. I mean, I'm looking at tape. Who cares? Who wants to be here? Who wants to help Justin win? Jesse James does. Is he perfect? No. But I can see it. Khalil Herbert, he's fucking running hard. Cody Whitehair? Nope. I know Mustafa's trying. I'm never questioning him. But he's limited. He's so limited that he's causing your offense to be that much worse. And your head coach can't figure that out.
Well, if I had to give one answer, I would say that they're a package deal, just because they just seem so tied at the hip in terms of.
And that's the right choice, as far as I'm concerned, Mark. But that's what scares me about the Bears, because they never seem to make the right decision.
Yeah, well, and
no comment from Mark.
But if I had to say one stays and one goes, I think it would be Matt Nagy that would stay. And the only reason, I know, and here's the only reason.
Oh my God, Mark!
Yeah,
just giving me a heart attack.
I heard from an ex-player that it is really hard to take a rookie quarterback and teach him all this terminology and teach him a way of doing things, and then all of a sudden scrap all of that and then bring in the next guy. Now, I know Nagy will have only been with Fields for a year, but that's just what an ex-player said. They said don't underestimate the idea that it's not easy to scrap all the shit that he's learned and move it into, bring a completely new regime in. So
I call bullshit on that, and you tell him exactly, because I think you're honestly, that is the biggest crock of shit I've ever heard. I'm serious. Whoever's saying that is wrong.
Honestly, I've thought about this, and the only answer that I can come up with is that he just mishandled the question. He took it at
the one thing he's good at.
He didn't take it for what it was. What it was a playful question, sort of like a human interest question.
Exactly.
It wasn't like a hardcore Bears beat writer question. It was just a little sidebar. Yeah, by the way, where are you? But I think Matt Nagy took that as almost like a mini interrogation. Like, what do you mean where I'm not gonna tell you where I am. And I think it, honestly, I think it's like that impulse, that involuntary response that every NFL coach has to not say anything about anything. You know what I mean? Like, to not talk about injuries, to not say who's going to be returning kickoffs, to not say who's going to start at right tackle. Like, that was his involuntary response. And honestly, if he's not going to, it's too small of a thing to ever try to explain yourself on, from Matt Nagy's perspective. But honestly, if he had read any of what was being said or what we were talking about in terms of the question you asked about, what do you think? He'd probably be oh, that's all they wanted to know. They just wanted to know if I was at my house or a hotel. For some reason, it went to Matt Nagy's head that they wanted to know exactly where he was going to be and when and how he was going to be. So he's the one thing about Matt Nagy, he is not proved to be a great offensive coach, but one thing he is not, in my opinion, is a devious person in any way, shape, or form.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Keeping it 100.
I was trading up. 100.
Yes!
What?
Here it is!
Just reporting.
Stick milk and competition.
Keeping it 100.
I know we need to run the ball more. I'm not an idiot.
Keeping it 100.
Open competition.
Keeping It 100.
The smartest man.
My Chicago Bears select Justin Fields, quarterback, Ohio State.
Guess who's back? The two dudes that kept it real. The dynamic duo that you love, the smartest man and Dr. Phil. Breaking down the film, never a problem, kick it straight. Most shows focus on stats, we focus on the tape. We keeping it 100, never running east or west. We coming with that truth, cause that's what our fans expect. Cut off the freaking anchor, moving forward to be free. But don't you worry, Shayne's got the dumbest tweets. It ain't no secret, Phil and Shayne got some haters. But now the mouth stuffed like the true and now and latest. Debaters, straws get kicked like Coach Tabor. Cuts had to be made, we added a barber moderator. Up and down, boys got you double checking. Sad sack strolling like a fool drunk texting. Flexing on the truth cause you know they'll never change. Real, recognize real, that's what you get with Phil and Shayne. 100's what we do when we're breaking down the Bears. Fuck a play or a captain, all of the up there. The tape never lies, the truth you see. We laugh, we lie, so there's no babies like Maybelline. Straight to the truth with acumen and facts. We got a sad nerd, but he's not just giving nerd stats. Car crash, big impact like Max Sack. Every Wednesday night you got the smartest man and Phil back. Now we know you're smiling like a fat kid with fun dip. We're back better than ever and we keeping it 100.
Keeping it 100, baby. Keeping it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping It 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest
Keeping it 100.
Keeping it 100, baby.
Keeping It 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100, baby.
Draft Dr.
Keeping it 100.
Keeping It 100.
Money Man Marcel.
Yo, this is Claudio the Barber, and this is Shy City Sports Keeping It 100. Listen, even with Justin Fields having his best game as a Bear, we could not beat the Steelers and the refs on Monday night. But you know what? To talk about that, we got another great show. We got Mark Schofield from USA Today's Touchdown Wire coming on. So let's bring on the guy who is definitely smart enough to not take medical advice from Joe Rogan. Shayne, the smartest man, Marcel.
You ruined my. I was gonna do the breaking news for Mr. Atoshin not being on the show tonight.
Oh,
letting everybody know that he's at the Joe Rogan Medical Institute getting better. But Claude took my joke right off a jump.
It away. Look at that.
Yeah.
So,
quick update.
Let's fill everybody in here.
Yeah. Phil's a little bit under the weather. You know, anybody.
There's things that I'm not going to get into in front of everybody as to why.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, he's taking a little respite, as they say, to get better, because we need our guy. This is the perfect week for him, you know, bye week and stuff like that. I think him being sick is full of shit. I know Steph's got some baby fever. So we'll see what's happening, but he's probably watching right now, critiquing everything that we're doing, Claude. I'm sure.
Of course. I'm sure we're going to get some texts. But take advantage, man. Talk. You get to talk as much as you want on this episode here.
Yeah, I can unveil my zit to everybody there in the middle of my forehead. Perfect timing. But no, man, it's a big week. You know,
got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, Pittsburgh game, the Tony Correnti, but we talked about it on BHL a little bit. Is the Bears gained some national relevance because of one guy, and that's, you know, QB1 in Chicago. And, you know, we're going to talk to Mark here coming up real quick. And you just want to see that steady progress, Claude. That's what it's all about. You know, everybody tried their hardest to believe in the guy that we used to have here before, number 10, Mitchell Trubisky. But there was too much going on there.
I don't think Mitch ever had the games like he's had and the plays that he's had already.
Yeah,
so,
but
he's
a
special player.
Justin Fields is not perfect, but we're starting to see that trend upwards. But I see our guy is in the green room here, Claude. So we're gonna jump right into things with Phil being out. We're gonna get going here and talk about some QB1. I know he's watched the last couple of games, and Mark is raring to go to talk about QB1 here in Chicago. So we're going to do the intro the only way we know how, like Phil likes to say, for Mr. Schofield before we add him. So here we go.
This insurance attorney is also a 4-year letter winner and former QB at Wesleyan University. You got anything left, Mark? Asking for a friend. Bears fans, TTNL fans, let's keep this offseason rolling and bring in the QB guru and total groupie, Mark Schofield.
Are you sick of that song yet, Mark?
No, I am absolutely not sick of that, Shayne. And actually, a good Bears friend of mine who lives down under my boy Justin reached out today, remind me that the Grand Theft Auto trilogy is coming out.
Yeah.
And you get Africa by Toto in that game. And he's like, look, Mark, when this comes out, you better just be playing this for hours on end. And yeah, I absolutely will be. But it's an honor to be here. I want to give out my thoughts and prayers to Draft Dr. Phil.
Yeah,
I know he had some doctor stuff going on, but I'm thinking of you, buddy. I'm hoping to get some good news from you soon. And, pulling for you, my friend. Huge fan of Draft Dr. Phil.
Oh, yeah.
Huge fan of all you guys here. So I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, nobody puts in more work than Phil does. And sometimes we gotta tell him just to, sit in the background a little bit, as hard as that may be for him, because we need him. This is the perfect week for him. If he's going to get sick, is do it this week while the Bears are heading into the bye. And
right.
He can sit back and take it a little bit easy. But last time we had you on, Mark, we were kind of in quarterback purgatory here. We talked about Carson Wentz and maybe Russell Wilson, everything that was going on. But let's jump right into it head first here. QB1 Justin Fields in Chicago, kind of a rough start. I think you probably know our feelings on the coaching staff and the system, that the way that Matt Nagy wants to use him. But speak on what you've seen from Justin so far and what you've been impressed with, and maybe what gives you pause.
Yeah, look, certainly what we've seen the past 2 weeks are the signs that you want to see. And you were saying it before it came on. Ultimately, when you draft a rookie quarterback and you play a rookie quarterback, you want to see him be better by the end of the season than he was when he began. You want to see growth. You want to see development. You want to see him improving. And it's not going to be linear. It's not going to be like, he gets a little bit better each week. There will be ups and downs. There will be peaks and valleys to it. But ultimately, you want that trend line in a positive direction. And I think the last 2 weeks are signs that, things are starting to click for him. When you see some of the things he did, obviously Monday night against the Steelers, where he's making throws in the middle of the field. He's attacking downfield. Average depth of target on Monday night was like 15.7 yards, which was tops in the league. Like,
you could add up all the averages of the past 4 games for Chicago Bears. I don't even know if they'd add up to 15. That's the bad part.
The guy that came in second was Hurts with like 13. It wasn't like he eked that out. He's attacking downfield. And I think that might be the biggest lesson for both the Bears right now and potentially a next coaching staff, which is this kid's built to be a vertical passer right now.
Yeah.
Like, eventually he might get to a point where you want to run West Coast, quick game, air raid, stuff like that. Like, he might sort of get there. He can get there eventually. But right now, you need to look at, I say, the Chargers last year and what they did with Justin Herbert. They bring Justin Herbert in. They let him attack downfield in the vertical passing game. It was high leverage throws into tighter windows, but letting them attack downfield, sometimes off of play action, sometimes straight traditional dropbacks, but play to his strengths. That's where Justin Fields is as a pass right now. And you look back at what he was asked to do at Ohio State, right? You look at that Ryan Day playbook. It was a lot more vertical stuff. There were option routes, but there were option routes that converted deeper downfield. He's used to reading stuff out deep into a snap, deep into a play. Cater to that. The idea of slant flat, curl flat, mirrored, slant flat and stuff like that Shayne, you guys in Chicago have seen from Matt Nagy's offenses for years. That's not Justin Fields. And you drafted this kid to develop him to be your guy for the next 10 years. Cater to his strengths right now. Eventually, he might be the guy that you're going to run mirrored curl flat with all the time. He's not that guy right now. He could be a great NFL quarterback like we saw Monday night if you cater to his strengths.
One play that sticks out to me, Mark, and I know that you've watched, is that touchdown to Mooney where he threw him open. I mean, you look at it, and that's just something that we haven't seen here in so long. But just going off of that, how much of a hindrance and how much does it give you pause, this coaching staff and the way that it is structured for his development moving forward? Because I mean, obviously we're not a big believer in what Matt Nagy is. Matt Nagy always comes across to us like he wants to be the reason that the offense works. It's not about Justin Fields or whoever the quarterback is. It's about Matt Nagy. But how much of a concern is that for you moving forward with, because we don't know how this ownership group is gonna procead. Are they going to pull the plug on it, or are they going to say, hey, he'll figure it out?
I mean, I certainly hope I hope they pull the plug on it. You don't like to see people get fired. You don't like to see people lose their jobs, but Matt Nagy was hired to develop Mitchell Trubisky, right? Yeah. Like that was the game plan. It was, we are going to follow the Rams path of, you've got the young quarterback, get the offensive minded head coach, do what they did. Sean McVay, Jared Goff. We're going to do that with Matt Nagy. He was brought in to develop Mitchell Trubisky. And for a year, it kind of clicked, right? They got to the playoffs. They won the division, but Trubisky never took that next step. And so you might think, okay, that was a quarterback issue. Now we're going to run it back. We're going to get another young quarterback. We're going to draft Justin Fields. And then you look at how this organization and Matt Nagy handled him in training camp. No reps, real reps with the ones. And even if you want to give him, want to give him the benefit, right? And if you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, look, we're going to start Darnold week 1 because you're worried about the Rams. You're worried about Aaron Donald. Fine. You're going to get Fields reps with the ones in case Dalton gets hurt. Yeah. Like, forget about developing them. In case Dalton gets hurt, you're going to get this guy reps with the ones. And so eventually when you decide to go to Fields, he's got no sort of chemistry built up with guys like Allen Robinson. He's got no understanding of where they're going to be on routes, how Robinson might read a route that converts for single high versus, middle of the field open and things like that. And then look, the other thing is, how fair of evaluation was it if Fields is just getting runs with the 2s and the 3s? Like, what kind of an evaluation process is that? And so the hesitancy with giving Matt Nagy the keys to the Justin Field era sort of stemmed from that. You've already seen evidence of him struggling to develop a quarterback. And maybe you could say, okay, that was a Mitchell Trubisky problem. Now you're on to the next guy. Justin Fields is certainly not Mitchell Trubisky. Right. And you've still got problems in a quarterback development realm. And so from where I sit, again, look, you see it over my shoulder. There it is, the Patriots banner. Yeah. I'm not a Bears fan. I'm a quarterback guy. I want to see Justin Fields be successful here. I'm worried about him left in Matt Nagy's hands. Now, look, with Bill Lazor and some of the play calling we've seen when Lazor's calling plays, like you've seen, okay, like Monday night, they're pushing it downfield. They're being a little bit more aggressive. Okay, that's good, but you can certainly get another offensive coordinator or offensive-minded head coach that has that kind of mentality, that has that ability to sort of develop a quarterback. And we all know the names. I mean, Brian Daboll in Buffalo, obviously, is one of the first names that comes to mind. You look at what he's done with Josh Allen, but there will be guys out there, men that have coached quarterbacks, that have a record of quarterback development, that can come into this ownership group and put in front of them, hey, I developed Josh Allen. Say they go in a different direction, that they zig and they hire a defensive-minded head coach or something like that. Okay, offensive coordinator, Pep Hamilton. He's now, he was offensive. He was the quarterback coach for Herbert last year.
Yeah, I believe he got a start in Chicago.
Yeah. And you look at a guy like Pep Hamilton, who had a role in developing Justin Herbert as a rookie. Maybe he's a guy you look at if you go a different direction, a head coach as a potential offensive coordinator. But I think we've now got multiple runs of Nagy trying to develop a quarterback. It hasn't quite clicked yet. Maybe he's a very smart offensive play designer. Maybe he's a smart play caller. But you got to get the Justin Fields development piece figured out. And it starts with getting the guy in place that can develop the quarterback the right way.
Right. And I mean, we've talked so much. Even the Bears don't even run slants. I mean, just a simple slant with a guy like Allen Robinson, where he's got the body type to fend off defenders and stuff like that. We finally saw them attacking the seams with Cole Cometh, with Jimmy Graham. And I'm like, how is it? I just don't understand, Mark, how it can be that difficult. I mean, they're bringing in Demir Bird to block.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. There's no rhyme or reason. I can already hear Phil in my head right now going nuts because we've been pounding the table, and it's just it seems like in Chicago, if they can figure out a way to do it backwards, that's the way they're going to do it. And it's they went out and got Andy Dalton in free agency, and of course they told him at the time, hey, you're our guy, you're going to be the starting quarterback. Well, the night that they drafted Justin Fields, shit changed.
Yeah.
I mean, why is it that hard to say this? We're going to open this up. Justin Fields came out 2 weeks ago and they said, hey, your rapport with Jesse James, where did that come from? He's like, I got reps with him in training camp.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that rapport with Allen Robinson, with Darnell Mooney yet, because he didn't play with him. He didn't get to play with the ones on the offensive line. And it's just, if I were to have told you this back in April when the Bears drafted him, that he was going to get 0 reps with the ones, you would have told me that I'm a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
because nobody would
absolutely
do that.
And I would have said there'd be no way he'd be playing because
did
he get hurt? Like, what happened here? I mean, you look at, you can question how Kyle Shanahan's handling Trey Lance, but Lance got reps with the ones.
Yeah,
Lance got packages of plays for him. Lance got opportunities. Like early in the season when Garoppolo was the guy, they still got him into the field. They still got him live game reps. And I used to be one of those people that thought you can learn by watching, but the more I've sort of studied quarterback play, the more I've sort of studied how we're transitioning young quarterbacks into the league. You got to do it. You got to get on the field and do it because, you can read out a defense from the sideline, but until you're doing it under center or in the gun, until you're doing it with guys coming at you, until you're doing it when you have to do it on the fly and make a read and a throw with Aaron Donald breathing down your neck, it's not going to click in. There's so much muscle memory that you have to learn, play in the position. I mean, Emory Hunt, I love Emory. And, when this discussion sort of came up, it was a year or two ago about, do quarterbacks have to sit and learn or can they play right away? And he said, well, if you're going in for heart surgery, do you want the heart surgeon that's done it or the guy that's just watched them a bunch of times?
Right.
Yeah. And I know that playing quarterback and heart surgery are two different things, but Emory makes a pretty darn good point there in my mind.
Yeah. It's hard to stomach here because the Bears had so much momentum on draft night to build from. And then they literally just went out and pissed down their own legs. And I'll never be able to figure it out. But Mark, looking at him over the last 2 games, is there anything that you've seen like mechanically that you've been impressed with, or anything that you've seen that maybe has been switched up a little bit from Ohio State that's going to benefit him? I mean, everybody knows that quarterbacks are going to throw the way that they throw, but he had this a lot in Ohio State, and it looks like he's cleaned that up.
Yeah, he's cleaned that up, Shane. He's tightened up the upper body mechanics. What I was really impressed about, what the early throw on the boot concept rolling left to Cole Cometh, and then the one to Mooney. Sometimes when you're an athletic quarterback, you have a good arm. Fields is a very athletic quarterback, has a very good arm. You don't take that extra step of getting the shoulders, the feet, the hips in line to make that throw. And particularly on the boot concept to Cole Cometh rolling to his left, you see him take that extra step to then reset his feet, get the hips, the feet, and the shoulders in line to make that throw. He could have just tried to flip it on the move. Sometimes you see athletic quarterbacks with a good arm do that, and he didn't. He took that extra step to get everything right, to set the hallway as we speak, to make that throw. And the result was a perfectly thrown ball, velocity, RPMs on it, into a perfect spot for Cometh to make that catch along the sideline. That's the kind of stuff that sometimes you don't see young quarterbacks do. Because they think, look, I'm getting outside the pocket. I'm just going to throw this now. And sometimes, even though you have a good arm, you try to make that throw on the move. The ball is going to hang. The ball is going to sail. The ball might sail out of bounds there. But by taking that extra step, I thought it was a really good job of executing that play. The seam to Jimmy Graham up the left hash mark, that was a quick snap and throw under pressure. And I just got off a radio show in Vancouver. Each week, these guys ask me, what was your throw of the week? That touchdown to Moody and the seam to Graham are my 2 throws of the week from around the NFL. We talked about the reasons why the Moody won, but the seam to Graham, because he had pressure off the left side, basically in his face, couldn't fully step into that, but it was just snap and throw. And that windup, not really there. He's
No.
really sort of worked
Tighten
the
that
work
up.
he's done off season to tighten that up, Shane. It's been huge because, you know, I get a lot of teams and NFL people in the DMs and the text like prior to draft, like saying stuff to me. And I never really talk about that because I don't
Mhm.
care about that. And,
Sure.
you know, people lie to me all the time. You know, people lie to me.
Yeah.
I had people tell me that Zach Wilson was their QB1. Like, I don't believe that stuff.
Not
I
on
read
this
about
network.
it. Yeah. I mean, no, I had
Yeah.
some teams telling me stuff like that, but I don't really report that stuff out because I don't know
Sure.
who's feeding me lines or whatever, but there were some teams that were really worried about that sort of from a mechanical standpoint. They were saying, we're not sure he can tighten that stuff up. You know, I thought he could. I wasn't too
Yeah.
worried about it. I thought he had a good enough arm anyway, where even if that lingered into his rookie year, if he was running the right kind of offense where maybe he's pushing it more downfield and has time to read stuff out, it wasn't going to be a problem. But to his credit, Fields has certainly done the work to tighten that up. And now you want to see him keep improving that as he goes forward.
Is that a credit to the coaching staff more, or is that a credit to Justin Fields more?
I think it's a credit to Justin Fields.
Yeah.
I think it's, and we're seeing this. And Shane, this is sort of the next thing to watch in the league. I think one of the more quiet, but perhaps critically important developments over the past couple of weeks took place in New York because intrepid Jets fans were watching a Jets game.
Yeah.
And they were like, wait, who's that standing next to Zach? That's John Beck. That's his private quarterback coach. And now he's on staff with the Jets because I think there's a realization among NFL teams that, look, offensive coordinator, even the quarterback coach, they're game planning. Like that's their focus. Once you get into the season, like you might have time in training camp with a quarterback coach to refine mechanics a bit, to work on mechanics, to tighten those things up. But once we hit Labor Day, your mechanical training from a team standpoint, that's done until fall, until spring. Like we don't have time. Like we got to focus on what we're going to be seeing from the Pittsburgh Steelers on Monday night. We got to focus on what we're going to be seeing from the Los Angeles Rams on Sunday night. We can't take the time to work on mechanics from a structural standpoint with the quarterbacks when we're going to be worried about what we're going to do when we see 6 guys mugged up with 2 in the A gaps. Like that's what we got to focus on. And so I'm wondering if the Jets have sort of started the next trend of teams going to hire these private quarterback coaches to get them on staff to help these young quarterbacks. So they can be on site to work on mechanics. And so when practice is over, hey, Justin, let's stay here. We gotta go through mechanical stuff now. You've done your game plan and stuff. We gotta work on them. But since they haven't done that yet, I think this is a credit to Fields and his quarterback coaches. I know John Beck was did his pro day, scripted his pro day.
Yep.
I know he's done some work with, the QB collective people as well. Justin Fields has been in good hands from a private quarterback coaching standpoint. But is that the next trend, Shane? Do we see the John Becks, the Jordan Palmers?
Yeah, that's
Quincy
who
Avery's,
I was going to bring up, Jordan Palmer.
Yeah, the Tony Raciopis of the world, all these private quarterback coaches that I know, the Tim Jenkins, out in Colorado, out in the Denver area, are they going to start when their guys get drafted, getting hired by teams to basically be on site to consult with them because you don't have the time from a NFL coaching staff standpoint to work through mechanics in season.
Yeah, we talked about a little bit about that with Austin Carter Samuels has been on here breaking down a bunch of stuff. And, he had his questions about he was big on Wilson in New York. But I mean, we as a network here, we were not anywhere near as high on him. But what I wanted to talk about, Mark, obviously still in this vein, is when Mitch was here, you could see the flaws. And it wasn't just on the field. It was this shit all matters. Even listening to this, the quarterback, your QB1, the future of your franchise, is the leader of the franchise. He's going to have to carry himself a certain way, even in a press conference. And that little things like that is where you could just see where sometimes it seemed a little bit too big with Mitch. It just shut the TVs off in Hallis Hall and that whole nonsense. But with where I've been most impressed with Justin Fields, and I guess I shouldn't say that I'm impressed because it doesn't surprise me. He's like that. You always hear him say he's built for this, but Monday Night Football, that's a pretty big fucking stage.
Yep.
And he was flatlined. It was like he was a 10-year vet out there. I mean, he never got too high. It seemed like he was pretty much always under control. He wasn't, going crazy on the sidelines. And it's just, to me, it speaks to that kid, even the way that he handles himself after the games in these press conferences and everything that was going on with, Andy Dalton and not getting the reps and Matt Nagy. But how much does that factor into you? Everything kind of like off of the field, but like dealing with the press? Because I still maintain, if I'm the Jets, and Justin Fields to me was the perfect guy to go there to handle the city, to handle that media. But do you buy into that?
I absolutely do. And I've said for as long as I've been doing this, Shane, the quarterback is, when you're evaluating positions like receiver, guard, or linebacker, it's a snap to whistle evaluation for the most part, right? Quarterback's different. Quarterback is you could even say, look, quarterback is a post-game press conference to whistle position, like, because you are the leader of the team. You are the face of the franchise. You are the person that people are going to look to when everything's going right and give you the credit. They're the person that everybody's going to point to when things are going wrong and say that you're the reason why this team is losing. And you have to be able to handle that. You have to be able to sort of lead this team. And there's different kinds of leadership from a quarterback position, right? I think, ultimately you need the buy-in from the 10 guys in the huddle. When you step in there, they believe in you. They're looking at you. They're trusting you. You don't have to be a rah-rah guy. You could be a quiet, lead by example type. Justin Herbert, for example, is that kind. Joe Burrow, for example, is that kind of guy. On the other end of the spectrum, look at Tom Brady's a very vocal guy sometimes on the sidelines. But however you do it, you have to be able to stand in that huddle and get 10 sets of eyes looking back at you, believing in you. Because I can tell you from experience, when those 10 sets of eyes aren't looking back at you and they're looking at their cleats, they're adjusting their wristbands, that's a lonely place in the huddle, my friend, because as a quarterback, they don't believe in me. Like, this is not going to work. Fields has that. And the other thing to keep in mind is this is a guy, Monday Night Football, it's a pretty big stage. So is a national championship game. So is a collegiate semifinal. Like, we have to remember that, for a guy like Fields, he's played on some big stages. He's been in some big moments. Since he was in high school, it's been him versus Trevor Lawrence, like QB1, QB2, dated back to the time they were getting recruited. One goes to Clemson, one goes to Georgia. I mean, Fields has been on some big stages before. It matters. For when
the whole Elite 11 thing. Him versus Lawrence. It was amazing.
And you could say the same thing about maybe Mac Jones. And then when you look at, say, Zach Wilson and Trey Lance, they've been in some bowl games. Lance has been in an FCS championship game, but it's a different level. And so, it all matters. Like, it all matters to a certain extent. But with Fields, look, these stages, if and when he gets to a Super Bowl, hopefully for Bears fans, it's sooner rather than later. That might be a pretty big stage by his comparison, but everything until then, look, he's played in 2 collegiate semifinal games, played in a national championship game. Those are some massive stages too. And he played well in those games too. So, I think he's ready for the moment.
I want to just ask your thoughts on the Monday Night Football game, just in general, kind of away from the quarterback with everything. I mean, I don't like to be the guy, Mark, that is blaming referees, but I mean, I've watched I'm 45 years old. I've watched a lot of football in my life. And I got to admit, that was some of the worst officiating I've ever seen.
I'm right there with you. I hate to be that guy that says, look, refs are the reason you lost the game or the reason the team lost the game. But when I saw that meme of, Corrente waving a terrible towel, I'm like, I get it. Like the taunted flag on Cassius Marsh, obviously we all saw the clip of Corrente like leaning into Marsh as he's throwing the flag, like, some of those offside calls that were called against, the Chicago Bears. And then you look at the field goal alignment and you see some guys look to be lined up offsides to me.
And then the late hits on
late hits. Fields. I mean, Justin Fields said it himself after the game. He's like, Big Ben just got that call. Why don't I get them? I mean, that certainly looked like a game where if you want to be a conspiracy theorist and say that, look, exactly Pittsburgh, NFL wanted to make sure Pittsburgh won that game, keep the Steelers in the playoff mix. You don't have to try too hard. I was a pretty bad lawyer, but I could probably make that case that, the NFL seemed to have a little something extra special up their sleeve for Pittsburgh Monday night.
So if the Bears proceed, and I think we're all on the same page here of where we want this coaching staff to end up. The Bears have never been a franchise. They've never launched a coaching staff in season, but I know you mentioned Brian Daboll Is there maybe an under the radar guy that is on Mark Schofield's list that people aren't talking about that you would love to see get a chance or get another chance?
You obviously want to start with like the offensive minds, right? I mean, I think that's where most people are going with this.
Is that 100% prerequisite for you with Justin
Fields?
It's
not for me.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
Either.
As long as you have in a head coach somebody that's going to be comfortable delegating offensive coordinator and quarterback development to somebody. Like if you're going to get a head coach type, and I'm just saying Bill Belichick just because that's the kind of example I'm using here.
Right.
I mean, that is what you want, but Belichick has his hands in everything.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that he's somebody that is willing to help when he's needed, but delegate, other responsibilities as well. I mean, so it doesn't necessarily sort of have to be a guy that like pure quarterback development, offensive minded head coach. Like it doesn't have to be like, but if you want to go that route, I mean, Dable is certainly one. Hackett up in Green Bay, the offensive coordinator, is certainly somebody I would think would get some attention. Eric Bieniemy has been mentioned for a long time as a head coach in waiting. Maybe this is the time that he would get an opportunity. Do you have a record of quarterback development? Well, he's been part of the group, obviously, with Patrick Mahomes, and so you think, well, there's something there as well. As you start sort of expanding the room, though, if you start thinking, okay, you're going to go in a different direction, Harbaugh is an interesting name. I mean,
you just got Philip off the couch.
Yeah. I just saw that somebody dropped that in. I mean, Harbaugh has helped some quarterbacks develop from, at a college level, but you look at, an understanding of what kids are doing at the collegiate level and translating that to the NFL game.
Yeah.
I think that's, I've long been of the mind that if a team was dumb enough to hire me as an offensive coordinator to develop a rookie quarterback, we draft a rookie or whatever rookie I'm coming in to help. My first quals are his high school coach, his college coach, his peewee coach. Like, what are you running? What did you run with him? I'm sitting him down and saying, look, give me your 3 playbooks from high school, from college, from peewee football, whatever you liked, we're going to get that in. Like, and Harbaugh certainly has an understanding of what's been done at the collegiate level. That's where he's been. So I think, Harbaugh is a very intriguing name. And, depending on how things end up in Michigan, maybe you could sort of drive away from Michigan.
I think and this isn't just because we're Bears centric here and I'm a lifelong Chicago Bears fan. I think this is the one team that he would be willing to bounce for is Chicago.
Yeah. And I think from his perspective, he probably doesn't want to go to an AFC team. Like he probably doesn't want to go and coach against his brother, more often, or see his brother in an AFC championship game. He'd much rather see his brother in a Super Bowl again. And so, I think that would be, and look, obviously Harbaugh with Kaepernick, like he found a way to make that work. And so, I think that would be a very interesting name. If you start sort of expanding the map to, okay, what if you hire a defensive guy and then you go the sort of offensive coordinator route for development? I mean, I mentioned Pep Hamilton, Kafka, who certainly had some abilities to been part of quarterback development out in Kansas City. Shane Steichen, who's with the Eagles right now, but he was part of the, Justin Herbert group. that might be a name to keep in mind. And then as far as head coaches, I mean, Dennis Allen, who I really like what he's done down with the Saints. I really like what he's done defensively. I think Todd Bowles is certainly somebody that should get another look. You look at what that defense did against Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, what that defense has been doing recently. Patrick Graham for the Giants. I know the Giants, they're 3-6 right now, but I've been a huge fan of what Patrick Graham has done. Vance Joseph with the Cardinals. I mean, I love what the Cardinals are doing on the defensive side of the football right now. And maybe Vance Joseph gets a look. So, I mean, Kellen Moore is an interesting one, Chris. You might have to hire him as a head coach. And you might have to sort of.
Sounds like they're going to throw the bank at him.
That's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do. Leftwich is an interesting name. I really like sort of how he's structured things. Leftwich, I think, deserves a lot of credit for how he's married what Brady likes to do with what Arians likes to do philosophically. And so there's an idea that Leftwich is somebody that can come up with an offensive system and scheme to fit what Justin Fields likes to do. And so I that Leftwich one, that's a really good idea. But Moore, you're going to have to make him head coach, because it wouldn't surprise me if they fire Mike McCarthy just because they want to make sure they can keep Kellen Moore, because Moore has been doing a lot of interesting stuff, some 4x1 stuff. some empty stuff with Dak, but there'll be some other names that will come up maybe from the college ranks. I mean, I'm trying to think of some other college coordinators or coaches right now. Day's got a nice gig at Ohio State. I mean, but if you back up the Brinks truck and say, look, you'll get to coach your boy,
sure,
maybe that works. I mean, the NFL is very alluring for these guys. I mean, you might look at somebody like a Day and think he has the best job in the world at Ohio State, but the NFL comes calling. Some of these guys might think that call is only going to come once and you have to answer it. And so if you back the Brinks truck up and you say you're going to get to coach your boy, maybe that's enough.
I think a lot of times too, Mark, and a lot of people may not even realize this, but I think we've been around this long enough in Chicago, especially. If you launch a guy, you're going after the exact opposite type that was here. That's why I think that's why I think a guy like Kafka or a guy Jesus, I'm blanking on his name, the OC in KC.
Oh, Bieniemy.
That's why I think that the Bears will probably consider them, but not.
Yeah, but they'll go in a different direction. They'll go back to like a defensive-minded guy. And, I think you're right, Shay. We do see that sort of cyclical nature of hires. Like you hire the offensive guy, it works for a while, then it doesn't work. Okay, now we're going to get a defensive guy. Or you hire the player's coach, right? The guy that everybody's going to be friendly with. It works for a while. Then when it doesn't work, you go and you find the like hard-nosed tactician, like the guy with the Giants for Tom Coughlin. I mean, you go in a different direction. And so that might be what the Bears end up doing. They go more defensive-minded head coach. So then you start thinking, okay, well, who would be the right kind of OC? And maybe a Kafka or a Pep Hamilton or somebody like that. It just as offensive coordinator.
One of the names that you haven't mentioned, and there is a tie-in with Chicago, with ownership, and you have the whole Arlington Heights thing coming up, and hometown guy in Northwestern and Fitz.
Yeah,
Pat Fitzgerald. I like I said, I like Fitz more in college myself. I don't think that's a knock on the guy. I just think that some guys are, and that's perfectly fine. It's
I mean, I think
there, but there's a tie-in with Northwestern and the Bears ownership if they move out. There's a guy tied that Pat Ryan has first dibs to take majority ownership of the Chicago Bears. And if you've ever been on Northwestern's campus, everything is named after the guy. You know what I mean? And this is the way that the Chicago Bears work. And would I be shocked if this is, preordained and something that's in the pipeline? I wouldn't be, but do you have any thoughts on
no, I mean, I think Fitzgerald is a good coach. I mean, I think he's a very good college coach. I'd be surprised, and he's beaten back these rumors every hiring cycle. I've got the best job in the world. I'm not leaving Northwestern. I love this campus. I love this school. I love the city of Chicago. I don't want to go anywhere.
You could coach him.
You could coach the Chicago Bears, right? Yeah. It's not that big of a move. It's similarly, to what we were just saying, right? When the NFL comes calling, it's hard to say no. It's hard to say no. And for Fitzgerald, it's not like it's the Jacksonville Jags that come and call. It's the Chicago Bears. You love the city of Chicago. You love the area. These are your people. You're just doing it at the next level now.
All right. So we're going to get back to quarterback here because I think that's the way that I look at the last couple of weeks, Mark. They've been losses for the Bears. And I never want to say that losses don't matter. But if they were losses and you didn't see the progression from the quarterback, then there's obviously more to be concerned about. And you see where this momentum wave is going with the quarterback. But when you see Justin Fields, even over the last 2 weeks, what if you were to point out something that still gives you pause just in his game, removing the coaching staff? Is there something that you're like, man, he's got to clean this up?
Well, I mean, it's not really just a field specific thing. It's a young quarterback thing. And that's just the decision making and the time of the decision making, right? The NFL is a
mental clock.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the NFL is a very, very fast game. And even for Justin Fields, who, as you said in the preseason, look, going up against that Bears defense, like that's going to speed you up. Even playing at the Big Ten, like you're playing against some good athletes. You're playing against Alabama in a national championship game. You're playing against Clemson and Brent Venables twice now. And that first go around, that Venables defense did some things that really confused you. The second time you sort of carved them up.
Yeah,
he's got a good baseline and foundation for it, but you're still going to be so much faster in the National Football League. Like windows close in an absolute blink of an eye. And so you have to eyes, mind, feet, have it all in sync under you, ready to go. I think from sort of a footwork perspective, making sure his eyes and his feet are consistently tied together, because there are moments when, as he's sort of going from one read to two to three, the feet are a bit behind him as he's doing that. So then by an offset of that, once he decides to make that throw, the feet aren't quite there at times. Yep. And so that's something that he certainly needs to clean up. But there's nothing that, does he need to get better, sort of understanding, sorting out protections and things like that? Like, yeah, sure. But these are all things that are fixable, and they're common to rookie quarterbacks. Like, let's put it this way, Shane. I don't see anything from Justin Fields right now that I would consider to be a fatal flaw or anything close to it. Like, I see stuff that is like rookie quarterback stuff that is certainly fixable over time. And, as somebody that had Fields QB2, I'm very excited about what I saw these past couple of weeks. I've largely been excited, even in some of the struggles, even in some of the bad games. You saw moments where it's like, yeah, okay, he's getting beat up by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but then he rips this backside out route on time mid rhythm. And it's like, look, if he's getting knocked around and doing that, like that's something special. If he's getting beat up by the Browns, but then we'll stand in there and rip a dig route into a tight window with a guy in his face, that's special. And so there's stuff that he needs to fix. Sure. There's things he needs to improve on. Absolutely. But do I think he can get there? 100%.
Yeah. To go off the Bears a little bit, I see you mentioned the little thing behind you there, the Patriots, and we, to a man here, we do our off-season draft talk just like everybody else does, and we were all huge Mac Jones fans. And I know there was some people that they settled into the, he's not athletic enough for the NFL, but I'm an Alabama fan, been an Alabama fan my entire life, seen every snap of his career probably 4 to 5 times at this point. But speak on what you're seeing from Mac Jones in New England. And are you surprised at all? Is he a little bit further ahead than you were expecting, or is he right on course?
I mean, I think he's further ahead in some respects. I mean, what I liked about him from an athletic standpoint was, speaking of protections, right? Yep. He was very aware of protections, of blitzes, and weak spots in protections. I think of a play in particular, I think of all the time about him early against Notre Dame, where he has a blitz look and he knows they can't get it blocked up, and he starts to spin away from it right after the snap. So he was able to get ahead of stuff with his mind. But he's had some moments, like he had a run against, I think it was a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was the Chargers 2 weeks ago, where he saw it was 2-man. He saw the backs of all the defenders, and he saw a crease up front. He said, I'm going to run for this. Yeah. And he just picks up a first down with his legs. He had a play against the Jets where he was able to run and scramble, got the edge, and picked up 14 yards and a first down with his legs. I mean, he's doing some things with his legs that I think people that were worried about him from an athletic profile standpoint, they shouldn't be worried anymore. Like he's athletic enough. He's functionally athletic enough to survive as a quarterback in the national
for it right here too.
He does make up. Yeah. I mean, and what I think has been most impressive for him, first couple of weeks, it was he's not attacking downfield. He's too conservative. He's checking everything down. Against the Chargers 2 weeks ago, he had a curl and a flat to the right side from the YY wing, and he's got Hunter Henry's on the deep curl. He basically gets a double. Jonnu Smith is wide open in the flat, and it's a 1st and 10 early in the game. And the Mac Jones of week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 probably takes that. Yep. Mac Jones in week 8 resets the feet, looks backside. He's got Aguilar in a deep post over the middle, hits that for a huge gain. And that was the moment for me, Shane, when I was like, all right, yeah, he's starting to figure out what he can and can't do in this league. And he knows now he's got the time and the footwork and the protection to come back, hit that backside post route over the top. Very impressive play from him. He's doing what they're asking of him. They're asking him to do all the protection stuff, all the calls at the line of scrimmage, all the stuff they had Brady doing. He's doing it as a rookie. And for the most part, he's got those right. there have been a couple occasions here and there where it looks like he slid the protection and gotten fooled by an overload look or something, but that's going to happen to quarterbacks. I mean, veterans, rookies, whatever, you're going to make some mistakes like that, but he's been good to like check it down and throw it away if he gets caught by that. You know, when you look at last week against the Panthers, like didn't have to do too much as the defense played really well, but still had some good reads. The touchdown to Henry, really nice place throw, put it low right where his guy could get it. I know people might want to ask about the Brian Burns play. From where I sit, look, I thought he got hit. He was worried about a strip sack and he grabbed him. So he tried to prevent a strip sack.
Right.
Then he gets a little leg whip and the little leg roll. I mean, I think he threw a little extra sauce in there. And so, you know, I think, you know, he might have a little lighter wallet come Thursday morning from the league because of that. But I don't think it was like a malicious or like premeditated thing or anything like that. So look, I've been impressed with Mac Jones. And look, he was my QB5. I mean, I'll say that right now. And I was on a Pat's Pulpit live stream the night of the draft. Yeah. All 5 of us were heartbroken when we heard that the Bears were trading up because we all were like, we're this close to getting Justin Fields. Oh, my goodness, we're this close to getting Justin Fields.
Do you think if they would have both been on the clock at 15 for New England, who do you think Bill would have taken?
I don't know. That's a really good question, Shane. And it's hard to sort of divorce myself from what we've seen from Mac already. Yeah. I think he might have taken Mac, though. I mean,
if you were asking me that question,
then
I mean, you obviously know the situation much better than I do, but it just seems
you look
like
at the Saban Belichick pipeline. You look at the fact that
number one,
Belichick has looked at SEC pedigree, Alabama pedigree. They traded up to get Christian Barmore in the second round. I mean, Belichick puts a lot of stock in Saban's evaluation of players, and so I think, you know, I mean, Fields was 2, Jones was 5 for me. But sit there saying it right now, I think that if both players were available when the Patriots were on the clock, they probably would have drafted Mac Jones, because you look at how Belichick traditionally evaluates the quarterback position. It's mental side, it's ball placement, it's accuracy, it's the stuff like that, you know, maybe that's changed and evolved in his mind over the years, but I still think that's what he'll come back to. So I would think he would go Jones, but he's also wanted an athletic quarterback. You know, that was part of the reason they signed Cam. You know, he's been saying for a while he wanted some athleticism at the position. And so maybe he would have drafted Fields because he would have been the better overall prospect.
Right.
But I think that Jones kind of fit what they wanted to be and fits their evaluation of the position.
And like you said, the pipeline directly to Saban, that matters. You know, and I could talk about the draft with you all night, but this past draft really intrigued me, Mark, because of the way that, you know, Chicago was sitting there at 20 and really you had no idea, but you look back at the way, I mean, obviously when Philly traded up, I'm like, holy shit, they're going to, I honestly thought that they were going to do it, even though they took Hurts the year before.
Right.
But I said, you look back at Detroit, you look at Carolina, you look at
Carolina
Denver
in particular.
Yeah, exactly. And he's even, I mean, I know that the Giants are invested in Daniel Jones, but I mean, at this point, that's another team. And Minnesota was rumored to be, you know, they were gonna take Fields if he fell there. But I said, man, it's really finally all of the stars aligned for Chicago. And I know Ben Albright likes to, you know, cover in Denver. He likes to get Bears fans rattled and is still pretty adamant that Denver made the right decision in Surtain over Justin Fields. But man, it's
and I think the way that this fell, the way it fell for Chicago and Pace to be able to go up and get him, that's more credence to the argument we were talking about at the start, right? Which is, okay, well, things changed now, Andy, right?
Yeah.
Like, we didn't think we were going to be in position to draft Justin Fields sitting at 20.
Sure.
We were able to go up and get him. Like that changes the calculus now. And so we got a guy that many people thought was maybe QB2 in this draft. Heck, some people had him QB1. That's going to change how we do this now. And so that gives you more of an impetus to develop this kid from the start, or at least at a bare minimum, let him get some run with the ones in training camp. My goodness.
Yeah, well, you know, you talk about the progression of these guys, and I still go back to the Jesse James quote. You know, I have a rapport with him because I worked with him in training camp. And I just, you know, Chicago has I think they get clumped into a being an awful team. And I'm not saying that they're the perfect roster, but there is a lot of talent on this roster, especially on the defensive side, that can keep them in games. And I said, you look at a weapon and what Justin Fields can provide. I said, maybe some of these kinks would have been worked out in week 1, week 2, week 3, rather than starting to see the progression upwards in week 8 and week 9 and heading into this bye week. And I said, to me, it's a gross miscalculation by this franchise that's been filled with them. And I mean, not to go down this rabbit hole too much, I happen to believe that they're going to move Pace up to a presidency role and launch Matt Nagy. But I know we have you here for a couple more minutes, Mark. You've been great with your time, and I don't want to keep you too long, but you talked about, you had Justin Fields QB2, so I'm assuming Trevor Lawrence was what was the window in between those two? Was it pretty wide?
It was a 1A, 1B.
Okay, so it was close.
Yeah, I mean, it really was. And, I think with Lawrence, there was he's the scheme diverse guy. Like Lawrence was the guy that if you wanted to be a vertical passing game, he could run it. If you wanted to be a West Coast type of offense, he could run it. Heck, I was doing a show with Matt Waldman like 2 summers ago, and we were talking about scheme fits for Trevor Lawrence, and Waldman was like, you could drop him into Baltimore and do what they do with Lamar Jackson because he's a good runner. I mean, that's how schematically diverse is. Lawrence was coming out. Fields also diverse for the most part, but as we're seeing, the sort of quick game Matt Nagy West Coast stuff isn't the perfect fit for him. And I think Lawrence could probably have run that. Maybe it wouldn't have been his strength either, but I think he would have been a little bit more effective than we've seen from Fields so far. So that was really the difference for me.
Yeah.
Like I 2 summers ago, I was a bit more iffy on Fields. But then I started really diving into him, his final year. And it was that Rutgers game for me where I was like, all right, we're seeing something special here. He had 2 plays in that game where unblocked rusher off the edge, and he stepped up with one step, guy flattens his path, and he spins around away from him. When he did that the first time, I'm like, all right, that was pretty cool. When he did it the second time, I pulled up the screen recorder. I'm like, all right, I got to do a video about this game.
Yeah.
It was something special. He had a whole shot left hash to right sideline that I was just like, this is silly. This is absurd. And then to see him against Clemson, and I did a full on video comparing the first Clemson game to the second one, where it's like, I always love to see a quarterback learn from some mistakes.
He sure did.
And he sure did, and the names were different, but the Brent Venables defense, he did some things against him that first time that Fields had figured out by the second time he saw them. And that to me was like, all right, this guy's going to put in the work. Like, say what you want about anything else that he's done. He's going to put in the work because he wasn't going to get beaten by this defense for 2 times. And he showed some growth over his final year. And I know that if people got enamored with Zach Wilson and the arm talent and Trey Lance and the potential there and all that stuff. But, the more I watched Fields, the more I was like, yeah, this guy's legit. And, it wasn't like, oh, it's Lance, it's Lawrence here, and then everybody else is sort of stacked up. It was, these guys are right here. And if you want to tell me Fields is 1 and Lawrence is 2, I get it.
I've said multiple times on the air here, my feeling is if Chicago had the number 1 pick this last draft, I still feel like they take Fields. That's my feeling. Maybe I'm 100% wrong, but
no, I mean, look, I heard, like I was saying earlier, I heard from a lot of different teams. Like some teams did have Fields 1. Some teams had Wilson 1. Some teams a lot of teams had Lawrence 1. I didn't hear anybody having Mac Jones 1 or Lance 1, but
Philotoshin had Mac Jones number 1.
Yeah, and I can understand that. I can get it. Like Matt Waldman loved Mac Jones. I mean, I liked all 5 of them. I thought all 5 were like top 10, 15 guys, but it's just, how you want to stack them, you can stack them any way you want. But for me, Fields was really close to Lawrence, man. He was a lot closer, I think, than other people had him.
All right. Well, Mark, tell everybody in the chat where they can find you and what you're working on, what you got coming up next. We'll get you out here because this is uncharted territory for Chicago Bears fans. It's been a lot of hope and oh, Mitch is going to figure it out. Jay's
Right.
going to figure it out. Rex is our quarterback. This feels different this time.
It does feel different. It does feel a lot different. And that's somebody that a couple of years I was on Trubisky watch over Pro Football Weekly, having to break him down each week. Like
watched it all.
I've been alongside you guys, you Bears fans, for a while now,
Yeah.
and I'm hoping alongside with you that Fields is the answer, and it certainly looks like he is. But Shane, it was a blast. I appreciate all the guys in the chat, everybody listening in the chat. Means a ton. The feedback, always love seeing it. At Mark Schofield on Twitter, USA Today's Touchdown Wire, a bunch of other places. Not that you guys have to worry about this, but tomorrow I'm dropping a video of Kenny Pickett and his game against Clemson.
Yep.
You guys don't have to worry about that stuff at all for a couple of years. But if you're curious, you can check that out because I'm already getting to this next class. I'd say Bears fans, be thankful you guys did it this past draft cycle.
That's what
your team.
That was one of the things, not to interrupt you there, Mark. Justin Fields is in this draft. Then you see that big, you see the big window there.
You see that big window. Because what's interesting is, you're starting to see like big boards, like, Nate Tyson, everybody over at Bleacher Report, the Draft Network, they're starting to stack their big boards. QB1 is in that 25 range right now.
Yeah.
Like, Justin Fields, whether he was QB1, 2, 3, or 4 for you, he wasn't in the 20s. And so for these teams like Denver, for these teams like, Carolina and these other teams that punted on quarterback, you're going to be drafting a Desmond Ridder in the top 10 or a Kenny Pickett in the top 10 and trying to make it work. The teams that went quarterback this year, like, I think they're going to be glad that they did because it's a much different quarterback class. Like Ridder and Pickett and Corral and Willis, there's talent. Yeah, but I think those are guys that might need a little bit more time. I'm not really sure I'm taking one of those guys and started them week 1 as opposed to the group we just saw come out.
I agree. And this isn't Bears related, but it's everybody in my family is a Philadelphia Eagles fan. I have the feeling that they're not staying with him.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, because
and they're going to have 3 of those picks.
They're going to have
be high.
Probably 3 in the top 7. I mean, so they could go with their first pick and get a Kyle Hamilton or, Thibodeau won't be there. Thibodeau's going 1.
Yep.
But Neal, the guard, the lineman, from Alabama, they could go address the offensive line. Like they could address any number of positions with that first pick, but they're probably going to go quarterback. There's going to be pressure to go quarterback. I think Hurts, I do an Eagles show each week with Rachel Prevet. We break down the
that's why I brought it up.
Yeah. Hurts has shown that he could be a guy you win with. He could be a guy, but not because of. I think that's going to be the difference. Now, the organization might think, look, we can, with these 3 picks, address offensive line, defensive line, defensive back, and just build around Hurts and prop him up. And they could do it that way. But if Hurts continues to sort of take 1 step forward, 2 steps back, as I think he's kind of been doing, there's going to be a lot of pressure for me from outside the building to, look, you got to go get a quarterback. You got to fix the quarterback position.
Well, 1 point versus the Chargers, out of 23 plays, they ran the ball 22 times out of 23. And that says something about what you believe in your quarterback or not.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly seems like, we've been wondering, people watching the Eagles, thinking about them, what's their offensive identity? It seems like we're going to run the ball and prop up our quarterback. That's what we're going to do right now. And that might tell you how you feel about the position going forward.
All right, man. Mark, we love having you on. And we're going to, as you know, you always have an open invite. Maybe we'll get you on here towards the end of the year as the season's wrapping up, and we'll have a little bit more tape on QB1 in Chicago and Justin Fields. But, man, you've been so gracious. We love your work, and got to get you a new open, but we'll probably have the same old song for you.
No, man, I love the open. I got to say, the old pictures of me with my grandfather, man, I appreciate that, man. Warm the heart.
Awesome. Thanks for stopping in, Mark. We really appreciate it, man.
Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate it.
Have a good one.
You too.
All right, Mark Schofield. Man, you talk about a guy that's just packed full of football knowledge. I know I went off course a little bit, non-Bears, but it's before we know it, here we're heading into week 10. We're going to be, your draft mob is going to be coming back for all you patrons, and we're going to be talking more football. But I could, Claude, I could listen to a guy like Mark talk football all night long.
Listen, we are all smarter after listening to him talk about quarterbacks, man. Like amazing.
Even Jackle, you think he's smarter?
Even Jackle, I think even Jackle.
Yeah, it's good. And Claude, I know you said you didn't get to watch all the game because you had some family commitments that took you from that. But what you have seen, what was your reaction to QB1? I know.
I mean, listen,
that
was a horrible loss.
Yeah,
it was a horrible loss, but his play, like literally, not washed out the loss, but just that knowing what we got, that we actually feel, it feels like we actually have a real franchise quarterback on the Chicago Bears. I can't say I've ever really felt like that. I mean, Jay Cutler had some good games here and there, but this is a rookie. First time playing, and like Mark said, he's seen big games. In Ohio State, I mean, you can't get any bigger in college. So I don't think the games are big or too big for him. So
MC
sky's the limit with this dude.
Yeah, Mark was a Wesleyan QB. He played there, so that was actually in. If you go back and look at his little open that Phil produced for him, that was in there. But yeah, he is a great guest. Oh man, I get excited with guys like that. And, you heard him talk about Matt Waldman. Those guys, you could just sit back and crack open a beer and talk.
That'd be
ball.
A show to have a few of those guys on at the same time. That'd be
it's definitely and I know these guys get ramped up in the off season, especially draft related. But get a few 6-packs and sit back and just talk some draft prospects.
Fill the night off again.
We'll get there you go. There you go. But Jack, we're gonna add you in here.
There he is.
What'd you think, man?
Well, hello.
Yeah.
Fuck. My brain was staying intact for that whole piece. That was beautiful. I thought it was gonna slide out of the side of my head here, but that guy is a fucking genius, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. But before we get here too late, got to handle a little bit of business. We're gonna do BETUS, so get that.
Gotcha.
Get that stuff rolling. I know sometimes people don't want to listen to the business, but that's what pays the bills here at TTNL Network, and that's the way that we roll. So, hey guys, with sports betting season in full force with the NHL and NBA playoffs, football fast approaching, which it's already here. So this is a little bit of an old read. You need a sports book with integrity and longevity like BETUS. You may have already known this, but BETUS has been pioneers in the sportsbook industry for almost 3 decades, thriving and paying their loyal customer base. That's betus.com, and they have loads of bonuses. Join now or call 800-69 BETUS. That's Claude's favorite number, 69. That is 800 my BETUS. You receive 125% sign up bonus by using the bonus code SHYCITYSPORTS. 125. They have re-up and referral bonuses also. BETUS is known as America's favorite sports book for a lot of reasons. BETUS has all your NBA, NHL with team players and props, loads of NFL futures, NFL odds. You can bet UFC matches, props, PGA, golf, round matches. The race book has all your horse tracks. They have every bet type imaginable, and the sharp BETUS mobile app platform is easy with full betting options. Follow my lead and get your phone, online, and social sports betting. Partner with integrity and longevity like I did. BETUS. You bet, you win, you get paid. There you go.
That's right. Well done.
So, obviously everybody knows DDP is sitting this one out tonight. We're sending our well wishes, so it's going to be a little bit different of a format here tonight, probably a little bit shorter of a show. We're not going to do the 3.5, 4 hour extravaganza without DDP here. Like I said, we all wish him well. You want to send him some well wishes on Facebook and send some positivity. Everything's good, but he's the hardest working man at the network, and sometimes he's just got to
lay off the
sit
tie.
Back. Yeah. Lay off that Thai food.
Lay off that Thai food.
Check out Thai.
Yeah. Exactly. But Jackle, we haven't gotten your thoughts here. We did BHL and going on late after the game. but to speak to what you saw, QB1, talk about, I guess if you want to talk about Correnti a little bit and your whole thoughts there,
it was great to see, Cassius make that play. Speaking on Correnti, he gets cut by the Steelers, makes an amazing play, celebrates with an amazing high kick, karate kick, which was just great in itself. He's all tatted up, looks swell outside, out in the field. Gives a little glance. TJ or whatever, Mr. Watt is blowing kisses to the Bears sideline earlier on in the game, but it just it infuriates me. Not that you want to bitch about officiating, but it is what it is.
It was only a few minutes before that. It was in the same quarter. It was in the fourth quarter. He pointed and he kissed. I mean,
But hey, it can't fucking happen to us. It's got it's always got to be the other team.
And in the Jacksonville game, they beat the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen sacked Josh Allen and sat there and I believe it was Allen crossed his legs and sat down right in front of Josh Allen looking at him, and he's like, "What the fuck? Are you going to throw the flag?" And they never threw any flag for taunting.
What Marsh did was taunting. There will be taunting every game, 10 times a game in every game in the NFL. It happens all the time. These dudes, how do they expect these guys to be playing with 150% emotion? Just physicality, just going crazy, and then all of a sudden the play's done, and then they have to just turn it off. Like, I mean, there's a line that they shouldn't cross, of course, but I mean, of course you're going to look at the other team. You were just on the other team. Like, what are you talking
exactly.
about?
They cut you. You've been working your whole entire this season. Yeah. This one play was like your Super Bowl. On Monday night, you made this awesome play, and I guess you should just turn around and run back to the bench because, it's just, what are we doing here? These are adults, professionals.
And then the hip check thing. I mean,
that was the one that got me. And I mean, I think, listen, and I'm not trying to be contrarian here, and I totally get the emotion of sports. Do I think a case can be made that Cassius Marsh did, I don't want to say that he deserved a flag, but was he walking towards the opponent's sideline and staring at them? I mean, I don't think if he doesn't do that, to me, what got me fired up more so than anything, even I don't want to say him staring at the sideline and walking, and I get the emotions of it. He played for Pittsburgh. They cut him. He's back. He gets a big sack on Monday Night Football. But the shit with Correnti, he 100% knew what the fuck he was doing.
Yeah.
He knew, and your guy there, Jackle, that you watch every day, blanking on his name, McAfee talked about it, and he's like, this fucking guy was like, you're not going off my fucking field. Yeah. I'm going to send a fucking message.
You're not doing that here.
Yeah, exactly. This is my fucking field. And like, come on. He's right. McAfee talked about nobody
said it too.
Yeah,
he said that he's seen him take it personal.
Absolutely. Nobody's going to these games. I mean, how many times have you turned on a game and been like, "Oh fuck, Tony Correnti's this is exactly what McAfee was talking about." You're not worried about that. But what he did dictated the outcome of the fucking game. 100%. The James Daniels play. Those things dictate how these games play out. And listen, we see the momentum that we've gotten just from the progression of Justin Fields. Imagine if you had the progression of Justin Fields and a fucking big W on the road in Pittsburgh, killing their streak. What is it, 205-0 or some shit like that on Monday Night Football? It's crazy. But it's I mean, something's got to be done about it. I think anything will be done.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, I know refs are graded, but do they get fined for going on?
The NFL backed him on the call. They said he made the right call yesterday. Was it
no,
yesterday?
I know the call, but what about his behavior? I mean, that's I don't know.
People were drumming up. You do the research, and I was reading some shit on him, and they were saying that like he was, I think, the head officiating or headed up the crew out in the Pac-10, and he had to get let go because of some controversy there.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and it's you hate to see it. And I said, but the taunting call, and I said that wasn't even the most egregious call. Unfortunately, it really wasn't. I mean, the James Daniels, that fucking play took a touchdown off the fucking board. The Bears didn't score a touchdown down there after that. And I said, you see the late hits. And I mean, how the fuck? Listen, the NFL is not the NFL. Who did you see them promoting all pregame and leading up to Monday Night Football when they're talking about the Bears? It was Justin Fields, but then you're going to go out there and let him get the shit kicked out of him.
It ain't just that game. It's every week.
Exactly. And it's
murdered out there.
Yeah. It's really sad to see. And I mean, but you're right. These guys, their punishment is to get taken off of, big games, playoff games, and they're not going to get the playoff money and stuff like that, or have the ability to ref in the Super Bowl. But that shit that Correnti did there, when you talk about something being egregious, the hip check thing to me is an all-timer.
If a player does that to a ref, he's getting fined and suspended probably. If he hip right into 100%.
100%. He knew exactly what he was fucking doing. You think? I mean, Correnti's not a young guy.
Yeah.
I mean, most of these guys that
he's looking right at him.
He's looking
if
down
anything,
at him.
He should move the other way to get out of his way. Why are you moving into him? Like, it doesn't.
Yeah, it's sad to see, but Jackle, I asked Claude this, and I asked Mark Schofield this. You've been a Bears fan. You've been through, Rex and Jay and Mitch and the litany of quarterbacks here. And to a man, everybody's saying this just feels different.
Yeah.
Is that you're on the same wavelength there?
100%. I mean, just the game itself is like a microcosm of how we feel. The first half was like a Matt Nagy half, right? Like it just was blah. I mean, Fields still, I think, threw like 150 yards in the first half. But that second half, we made adjustments, and he was just the confidence and the poise. And, the one thing that Nagy said that it was great to hear was look down the sideline, and he's like ready to go. He wanted that moment at that last drive. Like he was prepared. I want that. We all want that in our quarterback, and we have that in our quarterback. And it's just a beautiful thing. Contenders, pretenders. I don't know what we are right now. There's still a lot of football left, but it's, I was extremely happy.
Yeah.
I was upset I had to stay up for another 2 hours and do the show and get no sleep, but at the same
it was
point,
a lot easier. Like I said, I had said to Phil the next day, we chat every day, especially after game days. But I said to him, it makes it, that 2.5 hours of sleep that I got, it made it worth it. Hey, I don't want to lose. I want to win every game, no matter what. I'm not concerned about draft position. We deal with that when you get there. I'm not worried about that. What made it worth it for me is if you're gonna take the loss, you're seeing this upward trend from the quarterback, because we know that football is a team game. This starts and ends with one guy. It does. The where this franchise is going, it ends with one guy, and that's Justin Fields. Cars talked about it the night of the draft, and he tweeted it out saying this kid is going to own every record for the Chicago Bears in terms of passing and touchdowns. And listen, it's not even it's not that like they're impressive numbers.
Sadly, it's not that hard. Actually.
Yeah, they've never had a 4,000-yard pass. That's gonna not this year. But that's gonna change with Justin Fields. That's those things are gonna, all of that. It's a new era, and that's, like they said, the Bears have to be prudent in their decision moving forward, because you guys, listen, Mark Schofield knows his shit. He is as connected as anybody within this league. He's not going to come out and openly say that Nagy's a piece of shit and has got to be launched to the fucking moon, but he essentially fucking told you in a nicer way that he's got to fucking go. And, to Phil's credit, and there was a lot of people within TTNL. I was one of them. I wasn't on the launch Nagy to the moon train as quick as Phil was. Phil saw it back in 2018 when the Bears were making the fucking playoffs and winning 12 games. Phil's like, dude, this guy doesn't know fundamental fucking football. He just doesn't. he's a used car salesman. I think that's where it all started rather than the shoe salesman. But it's, to Phil's credit, he was on that early, and he took a ton of bullets from people. He really did. But it's they can't risk this kid's development. And Mark Grody last week talked, saying that he thinks that they're a package deal. I don't think so. I think people that if I was calling the shots, they would both be gone. But I don't think this organization has any intention of getting rid of Ryan Pace. I don't. I
see
think
them promoting him,
but I do.
Yeah.
And
you
I
mentioned
know
that earlier.
Yeah. Well, the Bears blog was the one. I mentioned it a few weeks ago, and actually a couple of months back. Moving him up, but to the Bears blog's credit, we'll give him a little bit of credit here. I didn't bring up Champ Kelly. He brought up Champ Kelly, and listen. I know Phil doesn't even like to hear this, but there is politics involved.
100%.
There is a poker game aspect to this, and you can't just say the fuck a cap philosophy. Well, the Bears are limited with draft capital, and I'm not trying to make this a racial thing and saying he's going to be hired, because Champ Kelly is a fantastic hire. If the Bears promote him, along with that, the way that the NFL is structured, when you're promoting a minority within or hiring one from outside from another team, you get draft compensation. They would get 2 third-round draft picks, not in 1 year, but it would be over the next 2 years. That's part of it. And so part of this plan, where I could see really working out, is the Bears are going to promote Pace, that it would essentially fill the Ted Phillips role, because nobody wants to hear this, but the Arlington Heights thing is going to happen, and the Bears are not going to go into this with a whole new regime, with people that have never dealt with this sort of stuff. He knows, Ryan Pace knows everything that's going on. They know who they've talked to. He knows the ins and outs of everything. They're going to push him up. I could see them bringing in or promoting from within a guy like Champ Kelly. And then Champ Kelly's going out and getting his head coach for Justin Fields. I think that there is validity into what the Bears blog said with that. I could see that happening. I just don't think they're going to wipe the slate clean with the front office and go into Arlington Heights with a whole new regime. I don't see it happening. I don't think that's the Chicago Bears way. And don't forget, guys, they said on the broadcast the other night that the Bears want to be the Steelers, and the Steelers are all about consistency and patience. They win. They do win. And they feel like patience is a big part of that. I mean, Mike Tomlin, what is he? What'd they say? He's in year 15 already?
Yes.
It's crazy.
Never had a losing season.
I gotta defend Pace. I mean, we have a lot of young talent on this team.
Yeah.
And Pace brought them all in. I mean, on every level of on the offense and defense. So
that's some shitty ones too.
He made of course he made some mistakes, but we have one of the best cornerbacks. We have one of the best linebackers. We have one of the best, Khalil Mack defensive end.
They're going to re-sign that linebacker,
rusher.
Yeah, they will.
But I'm saying these are guys he brought in: Mooney, Montgomery, Fields. So you gotta give him some credit too.
Yeah, it's also the guy that's keeping Pace around.
Well, yeah, and
Nagy around. Jesus, sorry.
Well,
you're talking about Roquan Smith, and I mean, I've been critical, and Roquan Smith is a fabulous player. I think that the Bears need to get more aggressive with the way that they use him. Yes. They need to deploy him on blitzes more. George has brought up, Barrelissimo has brought up multiple times that he needs to play the run more aggressively. Are the Bears?
Uh-oh.
Shane just freeze on us?
Yeah.
Let's talk about
Oh, shit. It's the Claudio Jackle show.
Perfect.
Uh-oh.
The train has not gone off the tracks yet. There he is.
Oh, no. There he goes.
Oh, this is great. What do you want to talk about? Oh, he's back.
Talk about.
Am I still froze?
You're choppy right now.
You're choppy.
You got Phil's connection.
Uh-oh, let me bounce out.
All right.
All right.
So Claudio, I'm going to ask you a real question, though.
All right, go ahead. Let's go. Let's do this.
Speaking of pacing his draft picks, right?
Yeah.
Mooney is your guy. We talk about it.
I do like him, yeah.
Do you see him making that leap? Have you seen enough in
he's
the bond?
In my mind, he's wide receiver #1 right now. I mean, I think Fields has a way better connection with Mooney than he does with Allen Robinson. I mean, I think this is the touchdown right here.
Yeah.
I mean, this is amazing throw, and then it's just a beautiful thing. This kid is, and not just catching the ball. I mean, Phil's talked about it before. His blocking. He just goes 100%. He's a leader on the offense. He's a captain on the offense. So I think, yeah.
And so I ask you that because we see Allen Robinson actually do something with Fields this week, right? And so do you see a connection finally forming with Fields now that he's getting these reps each week? He seems to just be Fields looks better every game.
Connection with Robinson?
Yeah. Do you think now that with Robinson, you might actually see some production out of Robinson because he actually did some shit?
Yeah. I mean, I think the offense is just going to keep getting better because Fields is getting better. And I think with Montgomery back and everything, I think things are clicking. So I think the whole offense is going to get better. But I don't know. I got a feeling that Fields is really taking a liking to Mooney. They stay after practice. They practice together more. So, but I think Allen Robinson's going to get better too. Cometh too. I mean, Cometh had a great game.
And that's where that was my next question.
I don't know if you saw the video of Cometh at the end, after the game saying,
let's build on it, bro. Yeah. Let's build on it. We know what we can do, bro. We're close, bro.
Love it. Love the camaraderie. I think these players just want to play for this kid Fields, man. They just, he puts that aura out there. He's a winner. He's a leader.
He's going to make Chicago a destination for offensive players. There's it's no longer a defensive spot. It's like, guys that want to try to come and win. Chicago now has that quarterback that I think you could want to come. And you got him on a rookie deal, so you could pay some guys to come in early on and try to actually put some weapons with him, and we could do something. And if you're just tuning in now, this is not the Claudio and Jackle show. This isn't One Up. This is actually TTNL. Keeping it 100.
Phil is sick. Shayne's internet just went out somehow. So we're just gonna roll with this, I guess. I don't know if you've talked to Shayne at all or texted him.
I haven't looked at my phone. Oh, we heard a little click. He's there. We're doing fine. He changed his hat. We're good. I think we're all right.
Let's bring in the star of the show.
There he is.
There he is.
The train didn't fall off the tracks. We talked football.
We held it together. I think we actually gained viewers.
Oh, really?
This guy,
we actually gained viewers. That was impressive. I was waiting for the viewership to just drop, but I think we did okay.
Yeah,
dude, the best was Caden's playing clips, and it actually looked like a well-oiled machine. Caden,
let's bring Caden in here. Caden on point with the clips, man.
I had him ready the whole time.
That was perfect.
Very nice, bro.
What ones did you play, Caden? Was it the Jackal clips?
No. You think I want to see that shit?
We got a couple Jackal clips we can load
up. You got a tight end by chance?
You know what? I do. What are my bold predictions, Mr. Johnson?
Let's go.
Can only imagine the smells coming out of that thing, but
Jackal.
Hey, if you want more of that, tune in on Tuesday nights at 9:30 Central or Eastern time, 8:30 Central for One Up Fantasy. As I fuck all that up. See, perfect.
doesn't take long, but throw some. Let's get the chat room involved here a little bit. You guys have some. We'll do some Q&A. I saw some people blasting Kindle Vildor.
He had a rough
in there.
Rough game.
Hey,
so you guys in the chat,
thanks,
you guys
Darren.
Some questions.
Darren must be a big Shayne fan.
Right. Shayne can go.
Yeah, I'll go.
I like this.
That was funny because Shayne, we actually looked at each other, I think, through the camera, and there was a moment where we were like, "All right, well, let's plow through this. Here we go."
That's it. We're gonna.
Jackal's like, I'm actually on a show that's getting views, and I'm the lead dog. This is awesome.
Oh boy, here we go. Thanks, Shayne.
So you know what? Let's talk about this game on Monday, Shayne. I mean, obviously, the offense looked good, this and that, but we had the lead with a minute something left.
Yeah,
the defense did not do its job.
Well, and this is something we have a text thread that we send a lot of shit throughout the game. And this is something that goes back to the Lovie Smith Bears, obviously afterwards, and even, John Fox and that whole thing. And even back to 2018, the Bears, yeah, they would make plays, but it always seemed like if you finally got a big fucking play from the offense that would give you some fucking momentum, one of two things would happen. The special teams would break down immediately the next play on the fucking kickoff, or the defense would get popped and you'd hold them to 3rd and 6, and the Bears wouldn't give up 6. They'd give up 40 or they'd give up 50, and that's what you continue to see. And listen, I understand the Bears were short staffed, and Khalil Mack was out, Akeem Hicks was banged up, and stuff like that. There's still talent on this team, but a lot of it goes back. Hey, tackling, you have to make a fucking tackle when you have it in front of you. But still, Desai, listen, man, you can't go back into a fucking shell and sit back. You have the fucking thoroughbreds to attack. Still, with these other guys gone, deploy fucking Roquan Smith. You have the most statuesque, fucking immobile quarterback back there. And how many times did they blitz a guy like Roquan to make him uncomfortable? Ben will turn the fucking ball over if you pressure him. This isn't Ben Roethlisberger from 2005, from 2006, 2007. That's not who you're facing. The Bears, their motto has been, we have the dogs on the defensive line. They do. This is the fucking NFL. Teams are smart. They fucking get it. You have a 18, 19-year-old or 19-year vet back there at fucking quarterback. You don't fucking think that he's going to be smart enough to get rid of the ball quickly? He's got almost no. You saw that one fucking play where he bought a little bit of fucking time and threw the fucking lollipop, 36 yards downfield. DHC got lost on that one. That ball needs to be fucking picked off. Mm-hmm. It needs to be picked off, but the Bears aren't making the fucking plays when they need to. But listen, this goes with any sport. It goes to my son's involved in basketball, and you see it even at the level that he plays. Momentum is huge. These kids, these players, these young guys playing in the NFL, momentum is huge, and they can build off of it. You think Brian Urlacher, when Lovie Smith came in, when Brian Urlacher played under Dick Duran, he was getting 7-8 sacks. Yeah. That's the way that they're using him. Lovie Smith came in, that shit went away because the cover 2, you're dropping your fucking middle linebacker, getting depth with your middle linebacker to make plays downfield. That's a testament to how good Brian Urlacher was. But do you think that he loved that throughout his career? No, these guys want to fucking run. They want to make fucking plays. They want to sack the quarterback. And the Bears need to have an aggressive mentality on offense, especially with Justin Fields, and needs to carry over on defense. I don't give a shit if you have Robert Quinn and Khalil Mack. You also have Roquan Smith, a guy that is literally one of the best blitzing linebackers in the entire fucking league. If you want to send him, they should have sent him early. They should have sent him often. And it was a miscalculation by Sean Desai, big time.
I was going to say, what do you grade Sean Desai's first half of a season as defense?
What do I grade it?
Where do you grade him as a defense coordinator so far?
I don't really know what a grade would be. D, because I'm disappointed, because I thought he was going to bring more of an aggressive mentality, and for whatever reason,
the way he made it sound when he took the job.
Yeah, well, and like I said, Chuck Pagano did the same thing, and you saw Chuck Pagano when he was in Baltimore. He did a lot of things with his corners and stuff like that. And you remember I brought it up on BHL. We're going to get our guys going this way, not this way. But then on fucking third down, you see him dropping Robert Quinn into fucking coverage. It makes no fucking sense. They didn't give $70 million to Robert Quinn to drop this motherfucker in coverage. It makes no sense at all. And that's where you get beat, is because these guys overthink situations. The Bears you remember Lovey? We're going to get off the bus running the football. We're going to be the best looking team getting off the bus, and then they'd come out and they'd fucking pass. Not saying that they didn't have a good running game. They did. He had more of a commitment to the running game than this regime does. But the Bears openly try to come out and say things publicly, and they think that everybody's just going to fucking fall in line and believe it. And they're full of shit. It doesn't work that way. When you have thoroughbreds, you fucking run them.
Yeah.
Don't tie them up in a barn and just fucking leave them there.
They were successful with that too, Shane. Like you said, when they rushed Roquan during the game, they had success.
God. You know, you saw if you go back and you watch that sack of, and that was in a critical spot.
Yeah,
with Roquan, because that was after. Trying to think, there was
the post non-bopping baloney Ben Roethlisberger stinks, man. They got to, they should have beat him up, man. It was awful.
Yeah. But Roquan is explosive. You know, he really is, and they needed to deploy him more. That these guys feed off of that. You know, they're really good
guy, though, right? Like we feel is he a yes man? I mean, he's what, 8 years in the Bears organization.
Well, and that's he came in actually with Mark Trestman, so that's a testament to Sean Desai. You know, living and continuing through John Fox and then to Matt Nagy. But listen, he was a safeties guy. You know, everybody was like, oh man, he's going to get through to Eddie Jackson this year. Not saying that Eddie Jackson hasn't made some fucking plays and made a difference in coverage on some plays that people tend to overlook because the guy's missing tackles and missing, you know, open field tackles. That's a big part of it. But it all comes back to coaching with this team. I know Phil's dad and Phil talked about it, and they kind of went against what I was saying. Listen, part of it with me too is, you know what, Eddie, you're gonna go out there and miss I'm not gonna go out and blame Sean Desai for you missing the fucking tackle. The missed tackle is on you. Mm-hmm. It's on Sean Desai for not holding you accountable for missing that tackle. You know, go out there and make Mario Edwards. You know, it's not. I get it. You're aggressive. They gave you the contract extension, but you can't have these mental lapses where you make a dumb play after the fucking whistle that's going to cost your team. You know, you saw it with Cassius Marsh the other night. He talked about it. You saw when he came off the field, the fucking Bears coach was right up in his fucking grill.
His ass up.
Yeah, and that's that you like to see. He didn't realize the gravity of the situation in the way that everything unfolded. But, you know, if Cassius Marsh did his fucking karate kick and then ran back to the Bears sideline and didn't fucking stare down Pittsburgh sideline and walk towards it.
There's no flag. Yeah, there's no flag.
Listen, and I'm not defending Correnti at all, but I'm just saying, I think you may have seen something different. Maybe I'm wrong, but like I said, we mentioned it earlier. The chat, we want to get you guys involved. We always like to be interactive here on TTNL Network and involve some of the fans. So if you guys
think of Borum, Shane, that was a comment that I popped up before. Borum's play over the last 2 weeks. He had Nick Bosa and then what the fuck's his name?
Watt.
It's eluding me. Thank you.
TJ Watt.
Yeah, I mean,
no, listen, I didn't know a hell of a lot about Larry Borum. If you go back to our draft coverage when the Bears drafted him, I didn't have much on him. I don't even think George had too much on him. Phil was I think the boys had a game or something on day 3 when the Bears took Larry Borum. So it was George Barlissimo and myself kicking off the coverage that day. But he's been a find, and this is Ryan Pace's wheelhouse, finding these guys. Has he failed up top? Yeah, 100%. He has failed up top. Kevin White, and you know, at the time, you can't predict injuries. He got injured right out the gate and just never put the things together. Leonard Floyd, I know Phil hated the pick, but if you look at that draft, the offensive lineman for Houston or Miami drafted him, I guess they're originally, and they traded him to Houston, Tunsil. That was the guy that everybody kind of thought Chicago was taking. The New York Giants wanted Leonard Floyd. The Bears jumped them with Tampa to take him. But if you go back and you look at that draft, that entire first round is horrific. beyond Leonard Floyd and Laramie Tunsil. I mean, is Floyd the superstar that you're expecting in the top 10? No. Is he serviceable? Yeah, he is. He's a serviceable player. Is he top 10? Has he lived up to his hype? No, not at all. Mitch was the epic gaff of all gaffs, and that's the one you're never going to change with Ryan Pace, because he had such a difference in grading between Mitch. Patrick Mahomes was number 2 on their list. He couldn't live with having to take Patrick Mahomes at number 3 if Mitch went number 1 or number 2. He had to trade up to number 2 to secure his services. So that means there was a wide gap there. That one you're never going to recover from. But to your point, Claude, he's found guys up and down this draft. And this is where fans get in trouble, is they say, oh, he missed on this guy. He missed on this. Go look at the fucking Patriots draft every year. The Green Bay, every single fucking team misses, and they have epic misses in the draft. Nobody bats 500 in the fucking draft. Nobody does. Is it a fucking perfect science? You know, is there a perfect way to do it? No, because you have to have a way to measure a guy's heart, and you can't. You don't know how these guys are going to react when they get fucking paid. That's why you have to do all those background checks. That's why when you see a guy like Eddie Jackson, when he was at Alabama and Nick Saban said, hey, you're my fucking captain, but if you're not going to fucking tackle, your ass is right over there on the fucking bench. Mm-hmm. Eddie went out and didn't tackle. He ripped his ass out of the game and fucking benched him. Eddie didn't like it. Eddie responded to it, and he came back. He ended up breaking his leg that year. That's why he dropped into the draft, and that's why the Bears were able to get him in the 4th round. You can do that when you're paying a guy the amount of money that Eddie Jackson's getting paid. And I know this is another thing that Phil doesn't like to fucking hear, and it is part of accountability. And you can't just say the fuck a cap philosophy. Yes, you can make it work if there's a player that you really, really fucking want. You can make things happen.
Make it work. Yeah.
You can't survive with a fuck a cap philosophy on everything. That's why it's funny when fans say, "Oh, trade Robert Quinn, trade Eddie Jackson, get a 3rd rounder for Eddie Jackson, get a 4th rounder for Robert Quinn, trade Tariq Cohen because he's hurt." It doesn't fucking work that way, guys. You have to know what their fucking bonus money is, the way that their contract is structured. And listen, other fucking teams are aware that these guys have fundamental flaws. They're not giving away draft picks to assume all that money, because the fucking contract does travel with them. The bonus money is all incurred by the team that's trading him. The Bears traded Eddie Jackson. It would cripple their fucking cap. So that's
tough.
What's that?
It's tough. They're in a tough, it's a tough spot. I mean, you look at a team like the Rams where they don't care about the draft,
Yeah, they don't, because what their philosophy is, we're going to go out and get a guy that's proven to have talent at this level. I mean, what is it, like 6 or 7 years they haven't had a 1st-round draft pick? At this point, was Aaron Donald,
I believe,
was Aaron Donald their last 1st rounder?
Yeah,
right around there. It's close anyway, but that's what it is. They look at draft picks as a way to go out and get a guy like Von Miller. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For the
Ramsey, Robert Woods,
all those guys.
Stafford. They're all free agents.
But to go back to Borum, it's a credit to Ryan Pace. I know the Ryan Pace said that the Bears had round 2, round 3 grade on him.
On Borum, and got him in the 5th. Yeah.
On Borum and got him in the 5th. And do I believe that? Probably not. I think that's a little bit of
where'd that come from,
my
right?
fucking guy up.
Yeah.
But at this point, hey, listen, if Tevin Jenkins is who they fucking think, Phil and I talk football all the time. Jackle, you've been on phone calls with us. Claudio, I know you have too. We talk at 24/7, 365. And I said to Phil, Tevin Jenkins' 21-day window to return to the team is open this week coming up.
Yep.
You saw him doing more and more on the sideline. I said to Phil, if he's your left tackle of the future, you have to get the fucking ball rolling on that. If I'm running the franchise, you have to see what he's doing there.
You need to see what you have.
I said to Phil, and he's like, that's a great fucking question, because Jason Peters has played above expectations for the age that he is.
The money value we're getting out of that.
And it's going to be interesting to see how, if Tevin Jenkins is healthy to play, he's got to fucking play. You have to see what you have in him. To me, Phil made a great point. You think you leave Borum over at right tackle, he's starting to flourish there. It's much like Justin Fields. Every game he goes out there, he knows who he's fucking facing. You think a 5th round draft pick isn't saying to himself, holy fuck,
yeah,
I'm in the NFL. I'm facing these fucking guys 2 weeks in a row, and I'm making an impact. He fucking knows. He's thinking about his next fucking contract already. These guys aren't dumb, but that's why you have to get Tevin Jenkins out there, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do on this offensive line, because if Jason Peters is healthy, you get Tevin Jenkins back, and you have Larry Borum
back.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, it seems like you have to fucking. Phil said if you were going to move Jason Peters inside, I don't know if Jason Peters would make that move inside. He probably would not.
He's the leader on that. He's a leader on that line,
exactly. But that would be a big help to put him inside to help a guy like Tevin Jenkins come back. I'm not sure if Jason Peters would be willing to do it, and then that would open up the door where you could put James Daniels at center and move Cody over, or put Cody back at center, depending on what they want to do. But hey, listen, it's a good problem. It's a good problem to have, and it's something the Bears haven't had in a long, long time. You're talking about 3 legitimate offensive tackles at this point, on your roster, and people can say whatever they want about Jason Peters. The dude's 39 years old and still making a fucking impact on game days. Like everybody hears me talk about Philly because it's everybody in my family, like I said, is a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Him the other night, I'll tell you the difference. He would get hurt early when he was in Philadelphia, and he would not come back in. That's why the Eagles went out and drafted a guy like Andre Dillard in the first round, because they wanted to protect against Jason Peters. He would get hurt, and he would just literally walk the fuck off the field, and he wouldn't come back in and play. He came back in the other night. That says a lot. I mean, he probably knows that he's in the twilight of his career, but that's a good thing. And I think the quarterback plays into that. I think he's like, I want to be part of this. It's Monday Night Football. Justin Fields, I think you see it, man. I think somebody loaded the clip up there with Cole Cometh right here.
Hey, let's build on it, bro. Yeah, let's build on it. We know what we can do, bro. We're close, bro.
Yeah, let's build on it. We know what we can do, and that's the thing. I mean, I know Cole Cometh's taking some bullets here on this network, specifically from Phil. And listen, I know perfection is great. That's what everybody should strive for. It's not fucking, it doesn't happen every single week, especially at that position. Yeah, you want to see the effort. You want to see the caught balls. That's on Cole. But there is a progression part of it. Is Cole Cometh trending up just like Justin Fields is? Just like Larry Borum is? Yeah, these are the guys that are the future of your franchise. Darnell Mooney, Roquan Smith, guys like that. I mean, do you see the fucking game Eddie Goldman had the other night? It's a big part of it. There's going to be a lot of changes on this roster in the offseason. There's going to be a lot of people that are gone that are fan favorites, namely number 96. I don't think there's a chance in hell he's back. Some of these defensive funds are going to be allocated to the offensive side of the ball, as they should be. Every fucking decision that's made on this roster moving forward has to be with Justin Fields in mind.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean,
100%.
I was talking to, when you were off, I was talking to Jackle saying, I mean, Fields, these players want to play for this kid. They feel it. They see it. They see the passion, the leadership, and that clip right there with Cole Cometh, you can see how excited he is. You can feel, what's coming. So, it's all good. It's all good stuff.
Yeah, man, it all matters, dude. And that's when you have a guy at quarterback that really lights the. Listen, I don't want to make this the bash Mitch show. I think the players liked Mitch. I think they respected Mitch. I don't think they believed in Mitch, the football player, being the guy that was going to get them to where they eventually wanted to go.
I don't think Mitch believed in Mitch.
No, I don't. 100. That's putting it even better, Claude. And I mean,
honestly, I
it's
feel bad because the situation he was put in wasn't his fault. But
no, exactly. Yeah,
he saw Mahomes and Watson going off. He got picked number 2, and I just mentally in his head, I just don't think he was able to deal with it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and I'm sure Mitch is a great guy, but when you go back and watch a pregame speech in the huddle with Mitch and then go watch and listen to it from Justin Fields, it's palpable, the difference. I mean, you can feel it.
Yeah.
If you're a competitor, if you know anything about sports, if you love the game of football, there's a difference. And listen, the NFL, you heard Shane Matthews talk about it on here. The Bears went out and drafted Cade McNown. He's like, yeah, first couple practices, we're like, yeah, this dude can't fucking play in the NFL. He doesn't have the arm talent. These fucking players know it, and they know it early. And that's not anything personal against the player. It's just that they've been there, they've seen it, and that's where the performance over politics, that's all part of it. The fucking high draft pick is going to get 4 years, 5 years to try to figure it out. What do we used to talk about with Mitch all the time? Hey, he's got to clean this up. He's got to clean this up. We'll get to the offseason. He'll do it. What did Mark Schofield just tell you tonight about Justin Fields? Yeah, you saw this in his arm. And what did he do? He's cleaned it up in season. We're through week 9. And you're seeing a more compact motion from Justin Fields. Oh, and he's fucking performing. And he's making big plays down the field with his arm. That is the fucking difference. That is a mental fucking attitude. That is knowing the game of football. And it, like Claude, to your point, which is the point of the night so far, which I can't even believe I'm giving you that much praise. I'm kidding, man. I love you. But no, that's the mental part of it. It's believing in, I'm fucking built for this. The kid has said it. You hear him say that and you believe it. You can feel it. If Mitch came up and said, yeah, I'm my mom told me I'm built for this. That's what Mitch would say. You know what I mean? And there's a difference there. But yeah.
It's exciting. It is fun. It's exciting to see. But we still are 3-6, and the season's not over.
No, and that's I think that they're going to make this is going to be. There's always key moments in every season. The Monday Night Football game was obviously a key moment. I wanted to see Justin Fields on the national stage, not at Soldier Field, but on the road against the top 10 defense, and I wanted to see how he performed, what he looked like on the field, and none of it seemed. If you go back and watch the game, I've rewatched the game 2 times, and I'm halfway through on a third. It's fucking goddamn NFL, and they're all 22 for whatever reason is so short, so you get the TV copy. So I'm 2.5 times through, and I'm still, every single time when I'm focused on Justin Fields, so impressed in the heat of the moment that the guy is fucking flatlined. It's not, there's no fucking, holy shit, we gotta, let's just start fucking screaming to scream and go. No, it's like, let's go. We know what we gotta, just like he said to Cole Cometh right there. We know what we gotta do. We know what we can do. Now let's go do it. That shit spreads, man. Players believe in that. There's no bullshit. You're not going to bullshit a player. It is.
Almost. I mean, you go in history, most rookie quarterbacks, they don't come out of the gate fucking killing it. I mean, some of the best quarterbacks ever, when they were rookies, did not look great. So
yeah, and
you gotta be patient. You gotta, but like you were saying, he's fixing this stuff in season. He's doing it quickly, and let's just hope it obviously gets better.
So I don't know what Bullets is saying here. So he's not a quarterback anymore. He's mentally damaged from Nagy. No, I think
he was asking why he's ruined. I think he's just looking for some feedback.
No, I don't. I think Nagy I don't think Nagy. I think very early on Nagy knew that Mitch wasn't what he wanted. Obviously, he's never going to turn down the job to be the head coach of the Chicago Bears. Do I think that Mitch was broken mentally or ever going to be the guy? I think that there was big time issues with Mitch before Nagy even got here. That's the way that I feel. I just don't think Mitch was I think along with being with such a high draft pick, everybody wants to believe in him. If we were on the clock in 2017 in the draft, there's nobody from the network that we were on then that was drafting Mitch Trubisky number 2 overall. Nobody was making the trade up. Phil and I were all in on the quarterback game, and I'll be 100% honest. I was a Deshaun Kaiser fan. Was I going to draft Deshaun Kaiser number 3 overall? No, I wouldn't have. He was a guy that I was going to look at to drop to the second round. But up top, yeah, everybody that we were with was going to draft Deshaun Watson. Everybody. Nobody. There was very, very few people that I talked to that were going to pull the trigger on Mahomes there. But that's the unrealistic expectation when Patrick Mahomes comes into his second year and puts up the 50 touchdowns in the historical season. Now everybody's like, oh, you got a high draft pick at quarterback. That's what I need to see from you so you can be a legitimate quarterback. And it doesn't work that way. But hey, Bulls won.
Well, let's just rewind real quick because we had this question here about Peters and Jenkins. So he wants to know, would you alternate series with them?
No, I would not. Listen, the Bears traded up for Tevin Jenkins for a reason. The Bears traded up for Tevin Jenkins because I'll be quite honest. I think if the Bears stayed at number 20 and weren't able to pull off a trade, I know a couple of people that know a couple of people. I think Tevin Jenkins was going to be the Bears pick at number 20 if the Bears stayed there. And they have a lot invested in this kid. If he's not 100% ready to go, you can't force him out there. He's got to be healthy. And that's what's great about having a guy like Jason Peters that's holding the fort down. Like I said, that's kind of uncharted territory for the Chicago Bears franchise. But no, I don't think alternating series. Listen, end of the day, that's not doing your fucking quarterback any fucking favors. Yeah. And this is the thing too. And this is what Phil and I talked about, when Phil was talking about pushing Jason Peters inside to left guard and then putting Cody at center, James Daniels at center. This coaching staff, I have zero confidence that they will do that because they're going to look at one thing and they're going to say, Sam Mustipher's been the guy snapping the ball to Justin Fields all season long. We're going to let them continue that way. It's just going to be what will the fucking Bears probably do? Knowing the Bears, they'll activate Tevin Jenkins and let him sit for a game to see the speed of the game, the NFL game from the sidelines. And then they'll do something crazy like start Tevin Jenkins at right tackle and sit down Larry Borum and play Jason Peters at left tackle. That would be a Chicago Bears type move, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And that's the bad part. But I know if you guys have any questions in the chat, throw them up there. We can.
Well, there's one here. It's like kind of a draft. Oh wait, hold on. Where is it? So would you let go of A-Rob and get a receiver in the draft like Jameson Williams?
I'm not giving Allen Robinson $18 to $20 million a year. That's me. Is he a good wide receiver? Yes. Does he have any interest in staying here? No. I think his agent's expectations financially are completely unrealistic. I think Ryan Pace played the market perfectly with his agent and Allen Robinson last year. That's why when you saw they're the kid that signed with the Giants, and he's actually hurt now. The Bears flirted with him, Kenny Golladay. Bears flirted with him a little bit, throw him some money to bring him, actually a Chicago kid, home. Allen Robinson's management caught wind of that, and he was in, signing his franchise tender the next day. The Bears are going to spend money at the wide receiver position, and I think they'll double down on it in the draft, 100%. I think a guy. Listen, the Bears want speed because they have a guy that's going to attack. You saw the other night where he's really good. He's being aggressive, throwing the ball downfield, and I think there's a kid. Is he perfect? No. Is he going to be overpaid? Yep. But I think a kid like Godwin is going to be in Chicago next year. I think he's going to hit the open market, and I think that the Bears will be involved. I think he fits more of the mold of what Ryan Pace wants as a wide receiver to pair with Justin Fields. Could I be wrong? 100%. Would I be surprised if that's the move they make? But you're talking about Jameson. Yeah, absolutely. If the Bears can bring in a guy like him, he's got a history with Justin Fields. He transferred from Ohio State to Alabama, and he is an explosive motherfucker. Mm-hmm. And the Bears need more of that. And, it can't just be Darnell Mooney. The Bears aren't going to bring back Godwin next year. They're not going to bring back Damiere Byrd. Those guys are going to be one-year rentals, and they're going to maybe Godwin on a one-year, vet minimum deal. You bring him back, but the Bears are going to be fishing for wide receivers in free agency, and they're going to double down on it in the draft, 100%. John Mechie, I'm a big fan of John Mechie. Is he? Would I draft John Mechie? I know the Bears don't have a first rounder. Would I draft John Mechie in round 1? No, 100%. I would not. I think he's going to be a good wide receiver. Is he is explosive is what I want? I don't think so. He's a good hands catcher. He's a decent route runner. I think he's got some things that he's got to clean up with his feet. But in terms, is he somebody that I would look at in round 2, round 3 through there? Yeah, absolutely. I don't think he's going to make it to round 3 at all. I think he's going to be more of a round 2 guy. Maybe somebody pulls throws the card in on him at the end of the first round, because they just love the player. But to me, Jameson Williams, the explosive factor that he has, I'm a big fan there. But yeah, Bell, everybody's fallen in love with Bell after the game that he just had too, and he does look just like
people are comparing him to Jerry Rice. I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know about that, but he's good. He's good.
Let's pump the brakes on that. And I don't want to get into the draft. I don't want to get into.
Here's a question. Here's a pretty good one, I think. If Champ Kelly promoted within the organization, Pace moves up to president, how much influence will Ryan Pace have on scouting, evaluating, and drafting players?
He'll be in the room for sure.
Yeah, they'll collaborate. I'll tell you that. And that's not a bad thing, guys.
No,
it's not
you need it.
It's not a bad thing because does Ryan Pace deserve a lot of bullets? Yeah, fucking right he does. But if you go back, he's made some really sound draft picks. Like I said, we talked about Larry Borum tonight, and Nick Kwiatkowski is a guy that they let go. Eddie Jackson was a good find in round 4. Tariq Cohen. There's always guys that they find in the Khalil Herbert 6th round draft pick. You know what I mean? At the time when they brought him in, and I was a big fan of Javon Wims in the 7th round. He was a big-bodied guy out of Georgia mentally, but that's the thing. When you're scouting these guys, we don't have access to talking to these guys one-on-one, knowing the backgrounds and shit like that. But these guys drop for a reason. But like I said, I don't want to get too deep into the draft. I know it's one of my favorite things to talk about on this network, but we sadly have a long off season to talk about the NFL draft. But if you guys want to,
we have a bye week coming up.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
This could be a new segment, Q&A with Shayne.
Yeah. But if you have any, fire them off. We'll do a lightning round here of some
I'm
Q&A.
looking here. We got
we talked about head coaching candidates at length earlier.
Here you go. Who do you keep on defense?
Well, there's I think Akeem Hicks is gone. You're not moving off of Eddie Jackson because you can't financially. Khalil Khalil Mack, as much as you don't want to hear it, I think that's a guy that they're going to
Phil
explore.
would fucking freak out if he
I
heard
think
you
that's
say
a guy
that.
they're going to not cut. I think that's going to be a guy that they explore recouping some of the draft compensation as much as that hurts. And listen, I love Khalil Mack, but listen, this is a business also. And a lot of you probably know it, but a lot of you probably don't. A team reached out to the Bears this past offseason to acquire Khalil Mack. And the Bears didn't want to talk about it. And that was the Raiders trying to get him back. The Bears are going to change their focus. And this is all going to be about Justin Fields. And if, a team wants to come and throw you premium picks for a 30-year-old pass rusher that's making a shitload of money when you're kind of capped out. Yeah, I'm not going to give them away.
It's good business, though. They have to do that.
Yeah. Is it something that I want to do? No, but I'm going to listen to anything. There's nobody on this team other than number one that's untouchable for me.
I agree with that statement.
I'm not going to trade James Daniels just because I think he's so young and he's so talented, and I think he's really coming into his own. But those two guys right there, that's the how big of an asshole is Aaron Rodgers?
Some guy.
The biggest, the gaping
how
one.
How big of an asshole is Aaron Rodgers? Can we just all revel in the fucking shit show Aaron Rodgers has become? I love it.
Yeah, man, I get it.
Can only imagine the smells coming out of that thing, but
Yeah, there you go.
Well played.
Yeah, that says it all right there. But no, everybody is available for a price, but to me, there's two guys that are untouchable on the offensive side of the ball, and that's James Daniels and Justin Fields. I know Darnell Mooney is fantastic, but I mean, listen,
anybody.
You're always listening. Darnell Mooney's not going to get traded, guys. I'm not saying that. He's a fantastic player and he's what people want and people need on this roster. But if the Bears set this up the way that they want to set it up, Darnell Mooney's not going to be your wide receiver one. And that right now he's your number one wideout in my book.
Yep.
But if you're building this roster the way that you really want to build it the right way, Darnell Mooney's going to be a fantastic number 2, number 3 guy that could take the fucking top off the defense. And listen, don't get caught up in the fucking depth chart numbers and what these guys are listed at. It doesn't, Jesus Christ, he can be an impact fucking superstar.
He can be the Reggie Wayne,
wide receiver,
Marvin Harrison.
Absolutely, that's the way that this league works. You want to have weapons and then fucking play to those weapons and dictate games with them. The Bears don't have enough weapons on offense. When they do have weapons, they didn't have a quarterback. That's changing. And I don't want to hear I don't want to hear people say that, the Bears are a shitty place to come. Right, Caden?
Taking pictures of yourself over there?
Were you just taking a selfie?
Oh, he's on mute.
It's on mute.
Jackle, you're such an ass.
I didn't do that.
Dude was on Pornhub.
Oh shit.
No, but that's what it is.
So, what do you want to do? You want to take a couple more, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, sure. I see. There's been a lot of David Montgomery.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about
stuff in there, and I know, like I said, I've talked about it on here. I'm not a guy that's in the business of, if you wanna agree to my terms financially for what I'm comfortable, the history of extending running backs to big money deals is littered with minefields in this league. And listen, I love David Montgomery, one of my favorite players ever on the Chicago Bears.
Kate will not ever talk to you again if he knows how you.
But Shane, you're 100% right. I mean, you're not going to.
I'm a bit. Listen,
an NFL running back is so short.
Yeah. What is? He's on that last year. Next year of his rookie deal. Would you be comfortable letting Monty go and let Khalil Herbert take over? Well, that's what they're going to be.
That's why they drafted Herbert.
That's what they're going to be looking at, and that's the name of the game. And listen, the NFL is a fucking cutthroat league. The Bears had Thomas Jones and drafted fucking Cedric Benson. Was it the right call? No, but it still fucking happened. It all depends on money. It all depends on money. What What are David Montgomery's expectations going to be financially? Listen, guys, running backs, you're not going to see the big Ezekiel Elliott type fucking contracts in this league because you can go out and Khalil Herbert's a classic fucking kid. Is he as good as David Montgomery? No, he's not right now. But that's the thinking in the NFL is we can save some fucking dimes here by going out and finding and getting a guy in the 6th round. David Montgomery was a 3rd round draft pick. Let's not forget.
Yep.
You know, I know people don't want to hear that, and Phil's probably having a fucking heart attack on top of his
ulcer.
Yeah, his possible ulcer. But
that's Dr. Claudio.
Do I trade David Montgomery? No, because I think he's worth more to Chicago than he is to another team. I don't think.
Yeah, but I mean, look at what Cleveland's doing.
Look
what Cleveland's doing with Chubb and Hunt. I mean,
well, that's where it comes back to coaching. And the Bears have this is another thing that Phil and I have talked about is the Bears over the years. You can look back at if everybody remembers the ultra back Raymond Harris, and they had Rashaan Salam, and it was like, why don't they play these guys in the same backfield more? You know, you look back on it when they had Matt Forte, and then they bring in Chester Taylor, and it's Cedric Benson and Thomas Jones. Why is it one or the other? Why isn't there ever an offensive mind creative enough in Chicago? Don't forget, guys, Tariq Cohen's not going anywhere.
Well, I was saying that
they extended
Why
him.
would you not have Cohen and Montgomery in the same backfield? Like, you could do so many different things.
Cohen stinks.
No, he doesn't. He's a weapon when he's healthy. He's he make plays,
But that's the thing. I would love to see some more creativity on offense when it came to having multiple backs involved, because I see other teams do it. Jesus, Deuce McAllister and fucking Darren Sproles and all those guys. They teams can do it. Chicago's not creative enough to do it, and for whatever reason, and that goes back to coaching. Is it because we have too many weapons? Get the fuck out of here. No, we don't have enough weapons.
Don't have enough.
Put them out there. Put them out there.
Exactly. Good point.
Yep. So, stop the Wildcat.
So Shane, actually, Shane, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
At the end of the game, clock management was the conversation that I saw in the chat just a minute ago. Logan just brought it up a couple of times. Did we really give them too much time at the end of that game?
Well, everybody was bagging Nagy for the timeout, and it was 100% the correct call. The clock stopped because they were measuring. As soon as that measurement is over, the clock starts again.
Yeah.
And Pittsburgh, if Matt Nagy didn't call the timeout, Pittsburgh would have ran the fucking clock out and then kicked the fucking field goal, and you didn't even have the chance. Where I would be more upset with Matt Nagy is not attempting a fucking 65-yard field goal with Cairo Santos. I mean,
in Pittsburgh outside at night. Cold.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a fucking gale force wind behind you, it was weird. The optics of I did the same thing Steve Levy did. I thought it hit the fucking crossbar when I watched it live. But then you got the other angle, it wasn't even fucking close. But to Matt Nagy, what Matt Nagy talked about was, the probability on either throwing the bomb or kicking the field goal. Listen, I'm riding with my fucking quarterback in that situation. You throw one up, go make a fucking play. Hey, worst case scenario, maybe you get a penalty. And the shitty part about it is Adam Johns broke it down because he had access to the all-22. TJ Watt was fucking offsides.
Yeah.
He was in the neutral zone. His helmet was. And of course, you go from fucking 65 to fucking 60. Maybe. Will the way that Cairo kicked it, would it have made it? Probably not. But still,
never know.
Yeah, you never know. But I've seen. I'm just looking there. Signed Brandon Scherf. That's the thing, and Scherf is a I believe he has Iowa guy and ties here actually to Chicago, but it's they got to pay James Daniels. That's the next guy in line to be paid. It's going to be interesting. They're not going to move off of Cody Whitehair. They've
You
already
need to invest in
restructured.
that line, though, right, Shane? I mean, look at
Well,
the Browns today. They just re-upped on that other offensive
But that's
line.
that's what you're
It's
doing,
like-
and you want to get the consistency there. Yeah, they signed Betonio today, and then was it
other
yesterday,
dude.
2 days ago. Yeah, and that's the name of the game. And you want to have everything in front. And are they going to pay Baker? I know my feelings on it. Would I pay Baker? No, I wouldn't. I'm not a big Baker Mayfield fan. Do I believe in the amount of money that it's going to require to sign him, that I would hitch my fucking wagon to Baker Mayfield to get me where I need to go? No, I don't. And that's why they're smart to invest in that offensive line, because listen, you talk about a 2-back set. How would you like that one? Yeah. And the Bears could have had Kareem Hunt. I know there was a lot of stuff around him.
I'm glad he didn't.
He wanted to be a Bear. He wanted to be here, but the Bears ownership nixed it because of his history. And then, hey, that's their call. If I own the fucking Bears, am I going to overrule a fucking signing if I don't agree with it? You're goddamn right. That's your
fucking bunny.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's wild. I just, speaking of Baker, do you think they offer him a team-friendly deal? I see him like going out west. I think the Niners actually blow it up and could maybe end up out there. And they, Shanahan gone, Trey Lance, who knows? But
I don't know how you can move.
I'm not saying move on, but you may see another veteran come in and try to, Baker. For some reason, but I had this conversation with a buddy, Mitch Trubisky in Cleveland next year. That's just. I could see it. He's a Brownie. It just makes sense. Like Mitch Trubisky wearing a Browns uniform. I don't know.
Could see it. I mean, I don't think there's a chance in hell that San Francisco is going to move off of Trey Lance, because I just don't think that they can. But I mean, if they're going to make a move at quarterback, you're going to see the guy in Green Bay out there. That's hometown.
How about this? How about Aaron Rodgers leaves Packers and Mitch Trubisky quarterback of the Green Bay Packers?
I'll sign up for that all day.
That'd be
me too.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun. We're gonna go to that game, that's for sure.
I see Rodgers going to Pittsburgh to play, but that's just my.
Oh really? Yeah. That's not a bad. That's not a bad thought. I think
that might be too much Pat McAfee though. Listening to those fucking guys talk about him too much, so that just
could be. I just think they're his fiance and that whole thing plays into it. I mean, you saw the Jeopardy thing and all of that lifestyle. I mean, you saw LeBron head west for to win a championship with the Lakers, but also build his brand for post NBA. And I think you could see that with Aaron. I mean, I think Denver. I think Denver's still in play 100% for Aaron. I mean, he fits there. It's not California, but it's close enough.
Yeah, they're plug and play if he goes over there, right? I mean, he becomes 100%. He makes him a contender.
Yeah. I mean, if you gave Denver fucking truth serum right now and they see the progression that Justin Fields is on, do you think that they would
certain
want? Yeah, and I mean, I know that Denver was a little bit different beast because of the epilepsy and that elevation 100% affects it. So but listen, I think when we had our patron mock draft, I'm forgetting who had Detroit, but he drafted Justin Fields for Detroit. And I mean, I can't imagine being the Detroit Lions and passing on Justin Fields under the circumstances, even though you had Jared Goff. To me, it's lunacy. But I don't know. I know we've answered a lot of questions. If there's any more, we got a couple more minutes here, and then we'll get into, we'll do a bear up, bear down from the game with us three, and then shout outs, and we'll get the hell out of here, and everybody can get a good night's sleep. But if you have any, just throw them up there, Claude. I'm looking
here. There's it's not about the Bears. I'm looking to see, but.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like I said,
we covered a lot. It's a good time to segue over to the next spot. 10 of 11,
Absolutely. But before we have a little bit more business there, sir. You know what's next?
Zip.
Yeah.
Clean it up.
Zip. You got to clean that shit up. So get that stuff up there, and I'm going to start reading as soon as you do, because we have a new read from our friends at Manscaped. It's football season, baby, and you know what that means? It means we're going for two here with the sponsors of today's show, Manscaped. Blitzing through hairs has never been easier, and it's time you join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by using code SHYCITYSPORTS at manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping. It's 3 and out the window with all the trimmers. Now go tame that wildcat offense. The world is starting to open, and the Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped is here to help you get ready. Inside, you'll find their brand new Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear, nose, and hair trimmer, Crop Preserver, ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, plus 2 free gifts, Performance Boxer briefs, and the Shed travel bag. The Lawnmower 4.0 has 7,000 RPM motor, a new multifunction on-off switch that can engage the travel lock, and it gives you the ability to turn on the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. Did I mention this trimmer is waterproof? It sure is. Rain, snow, sleet are no match for the waterproof Power 4.0. We have an exclusive offer for our audience. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code SHYCITYSPORTS. Manscaped has also threw in 2 free gifts, like I said, to the Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers, and the Shed travel bag. Get 20% off and free shipping with Shy City Sports at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and use the code Shy City Sports. Stiff arm your pubes out of the playoffs this year with Manscaped. Look at that.
Beautiful.
Well done, sir.
I will vouch for it, not just because they pay me to say that and they've sent me the Lawnmower 4.0. The shit is nice. It works.
Yeah,
well, and that's why
this guy uses it.
Shayne likes the smooth ball.
Fat ass over here. I wanna get it in my mouth. I wanna get it in my mouth. Oh, I wanna suck on your fat ass.
I know the fucking thing by heart.
Yeah. Chuck, put your question up there. I'll answer it for you. Claude's not doing his job.
No, I'm trying.
What was your question?
We're all slacking over here.
Yeah. Type it up again, put it up there, and I'll answer it for you, man.
Well, let's see. I'm trying to find it here.
Chuck is a slow typer.
There you go.
Shayne, will they continue to build the line through the draft or free agent signings? Please tell me the draft. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it works out. It's if they put pace upstairs, a lot is going to depend on the development of Sam Mustipher, believe it or not. Just to show you guys that we're open and honest here. If you follow Berlissimo on Twitter, he put up a very positive play of Sam Mustipher today for everybody. So it's not just about the negativity here. But yeah, you can't just say, hey, we're not going offense. Or no, we're not going offensive line in the draft because we feel like we're good enough. You're never good enough there. Cody Whitehair has not played up to expectations since he's been paid. James Daniels is going to get a sizable contract, and let's be honest, guys. I'm giving Jason Peters an extension to keep him around. Yeah, to come back. Back surgeries are legit, man. Is he expected to make a full recovery, Tevin Jenkins? 100%. End of the day, shit can happen. Yeah. Larry Borum's on a rookie deal, and this is the thing. The Bears want to make the right moves, and they want to spend the money in the right way, because if Justin Fields is who you think he's going to be, this 5 year, well, he's going to get paid before the 5th year option even kicks in. Justin Fields is, but I think it's both, actually, Chuck. I mean, if you have a guy out there that you feel like you can invest in financially in free agency and bring him. It's all about competition. Let him come in here and fucking compete. You're going to have very few guys on your roster that are going to be, if I'm running things or Phil's running things, that are going to be like, all right, this is your spot. Sam Mustipher, should he have competition? Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
If the fucking Iowa center is there and you're in round 2, I don't think there's a chance in hell he'll be there. You fucking sprint to that fucking podium and draft that kid, and you alter your franchise for fucking years with that. I mean, that's with drafting a center. It's the most important position on the offensive line. And Phil will tell you that. You have your
He
hand
ain't afraid to make a move either.
Yeah,
He'll try.
Yeah, you have your hand on the ball every single snap on offense, just like the quarterback does. So, yeah. Last question: should the Bears have ran on 1st and goal before that last touchdown to run time off the clock and give Big Ben? Yeah, I mean, were you calling for it? I guess that's the thing, Logan. Were you calling for it before? Were you calling for them to do that?
Before knowing the outcome?
Yeah, before the Bears have been so limited in scoring. My thought process, it always goes back to, oh shit, there's a lot of time there, but they duped me. The Bears duped me. I had a feeling the Bears defense was going to make a fucking play to close out that game, and instead the mental gaffes took over. It's a great point. Am I a big Ben believer at this point? No, he made the throws, but I don't think without those mental errors by Robert Quinn and guys like that for lining up in the fucking neutral zone 2 consecutive plays, do I think Pittsburgh still fucking wins? No, I don't. It just is what it is. I was expecting the Bears defense to actually come up and maybe a tipped pass and you pick it off, but having the benefit of hindsight is great. You have a young team and a rookie quarterback. You gotta take the points. And who do I believe in? Well, yeah, I believe in David Montgomery, but I mean that play by Justin Fields. If you go back and watch, like I have the all 22 of that play, you watch the fucking routes at the wide receivers. Remember Phil, curls. That's what it was, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Justin Fields fucking rolled out and he threw Darnell Mooney open. That was all QB1 right there. Justin Fields, amazing fucking play. I mean, you to look at the way that he contorted his body and fucking dime ball. It's amazing. It's a great point by Logan. I get it, but at the rookie quarterback and situation, the Bears just wanted to get points on the board, and then listen, your defense is good enough to make a fucking play and end it.
Yeah, they should have.
Get you off the field. So, but yeah,
right,
that's
so,
the. Go ahead.
Let's roll. We'll roll to the next segment. We're good. All right.
Roller.
All right.
Philatosion, Shane Marshall, the Tape Never Lies Network.
A bear up, a bear down. It's Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. A bear up, a bear down. It's Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. A bear up, a bear down. It's Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. A bear up, a bear down. It's Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. A bear up. This week, Draft Dr. Phil and Shane Marshall, the smartest man. Bear ups and bear downs of the week.
Still one of the best songs I think Phil's ever done. Big fan of Bear Up, Bear Down song. Absolutely. I did see one more question here in the chat. I think it's a good question because a lot of people think it's a long way off. I'm talking about Arlington Heights. And when the Bears, I believe it's 2026, they have an out. Yeah. I don't know. I think there's an out in their lease where it's, more fiscally responsible for them to get out of it by 2026. But listen, guys, if you're thinking that the Bears are going to be on the lakefront moving forward for this franchise, they're going to be in Arlington Heights.
Yeah.
I mean, it's happening, and it's going to be
it's the wave of the future, man.
Yep. And it's, you're going to have that. Then everything that they're saying is the Bears plan on, it being world class, and it's going to be everything, multi-sport complex where you're going to see Final Fours and, NFL draft back there and just, everything. So, and, Chicago's the type of city that deserves
charter franchise.
Like that. Yeah. There's no reason that they're playing in the smallest NFL stadium with the fan base that this team has. But let's go over to bear up. But who put the image up there?
I think Caden did over here. What do we got here?
I'm not sure. What do you want to talk about, Caden?
Oh no, you just were talking about the curls. Not just
yeah.
And threw them open. So I was like,
oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yep. So that's it's a good point. You see Justin Fields there just starting his rollout, and you see the famous Matt Nagy post up offense. Everybody has their back to where you want to be to score. But Justin Fields, man, he threw Darnell Mooney open. He put the ball in one spot where Darnell could catch it. And I've probably watched this play 25. The only play that I've watched more than this was the dime ball to Jimmy Graham.
Oh.
Mark Schofield said it was one of his top throws of the week. I agree 100% with Matt Nagy. It's one of the top throws in the league this year. By far the best throw of Justin Fields' career. I mean, if you haven't went back and rewatched it, you have to. It's why you get draft. It's why a team moves up to draft you. It's fucking amazing. That one pass should get Bears fans totally excited. So get that fucking lawnmower, trim that shit up, and go fucking party Chicago because you got a quarterback. But Jackle, we're gonna start with you. We always start with the bear down. We'll go around the horn down to Claude and Caden, and then up to me, and then we'll shift it back. But who was your bear down versus Pittsburgh Steelers?
I don't know. I mean, it's so tough because the easy layup is
Claudio.
obviously.
Did I say?
No, you said Jackal.
Yeah, I said
you
Jackal.
Start with me, no?
I said Jackal.
Okay, go ahead, Jackal. Go ahead.
No, man, you're
no, it's all right. You're up.
Fuck out of here, Claude. I'm kidding.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jackal.
It's my bear down. I you know what? I was killing them, but I expect more out of our players on the defense. Mario Edwards just continues to piss me off with making stupid plays, just not using his brain. And you could say it's reflection of coaching, but accountability wise, you're a professional athlete. You got to know where that line is with respects to just not crossing it and getting that flag and just shooting ourselves in the foot every week. So for that sake right now, for that point alone, Mario Edwards is my bear down.
Did I?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I heard Jackal, just so you know. Yeah. I heard
you ended with Jackal. But it's okay. So
it's all right. It's all right.
Whatever.
Shut up.
You didn't take my guy, so it's good.
Logan, you got like 6 questions tonight. Come on, buddy.
All right, I'm gonna go
out.
This dude who hasn't done nothing all year, really, Demir Bird. I mean, this dude, I don't even know why he's even in the game anymore. He just doesn't block. He doesn't catch. I don't know. So, Demir Bird, he's my bear down.
Caden Whitlow.
I'm going to go with Cassius Marsh. Just, I think it was definitely a dumb call, but you still got to be smarter in that situation. It was a big play, turned the whole game, and you got caught up in the emotions. I know that's just an argument there, but I would say Cassius Marsh is my bear down this week.
Yeah, and it's a great point, man. That's what I alluded to a little bit because I just listen. End of the day, I think if he celebrated with his teammates and ran back to the Bears sideline rather than, I mean, if you look, the emotions of that night, of course, I was pissed off. But then the more and more I watch it, I don't want to, the posturing bullshit. No, he was walking towards their sideline and he was saying, yeah, fucking cut me. I just made a play on your ass on national TV. He didn't say that, but that's where the shit all started. And listen, the guy made a play. I was a big Cassius Marsh fan coming out of UCLA. Phil and I were both screaming for him, for the Bears to draft him. I think he's got some talent, but yeah, it's you put it perfectly, kid, and you have to know the time of the fucking game, man. You just got off the fucking field on 3rd down with a big fucking sack, down 3 points with a shitload of momentum. And yeah, it's a big deal. So I'll go next here. The guy that I was really, really disappointed in, and man, Jakeem Grant had a tough one. Return, man. Big fan of the trade. I was glad that Ryan Pace made it. I think he's brought some legitimacy to the return team. I don't want to say he's not Devin Hester but he's brought a little bit of swag and some confidence there. He's always had an issue with fumbling. I mean, he did it in Miami, but man, he didn't look confident at all. The stage looked a little bit too big for him the other night, and then he had that big fucking fumble. Can't be doing that, man. Especially when you were brought here for one fucking reason and one reason only, and that was to secure the football and to return it and make some plays there. And yeah, can't fumble that fucking football there, kid. So Jakeem Grant, you're my bear down. And that flips us. I'm not going to play the song again. I know Phil plays a little bit, but whatever. We're going to go back around. I'm going to take the fucking layup here because I'm excited just like everybody else is. My bear up. Pretty easy. Listen, Justin Fields made the loss easier because you see the upward trajectory that we've been talking about all night. I saw this kid, we're not big PFF fans here, but they're tracking BTT. It's big time throws. Justin Fields had more big time throws in the Pittsburgh game than any other rookie did this season, just in the Pittsburgh game. And I mean, that shows you he was throwing some fucking dime balls. And I mean,
he was this down the field, that seam ball you were talking about, but.
Oh yeah, that one to
fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, that one to Jimmy Graham. But yeah, it's amazing that play. I mean, that was one of the ones when you're watching it live, you're in that one to Cometh too that he threaded in there when that was Phil and I were talking. I said that's the one when the old butthole puckers up a little bit and you're like, oh shit, oh man, that was a beautiful throw. He got it in there, but these are different times, man, for Chicago Bears fans. Like I said, it's the loss sucks, but it's different because of the quarterback. And this is the thing. This is my one concern, not to ruin the Bears up with Justin Fields, is Matt Nagy has not shown any ability to inspire or have his team prepared coming out of a bye week. They're 0-3 under Matt Nagy, and they can't come out flat versus a good Baltimore team. They just can't. They cannot do it. And Matt Nagy's got to realize that. Do I have confidence that he's going to figure it out and do the right thing? No, I don't. But I think Justin Fields is good enough to go out there and make plays like we saw the other night that can, dictate results over the inability of the head coach. So Justin Fields, you are my Bears up. Caden Whitlow.
Caden, you're up.
Okay. I'm gonna go with one of Phil's favorite guys, DHC. Picked up the touchdown on the fumble on punt, and he does show a lot of heart, effort, week in and week out, and he's a guy that he changed the game. That fumble did, and put us back into it. So, DHC's my bear up this week.
That's a good call, man. That was a big fucking moment. I think he can. I don't want to steal anybody's thunder, but that Iggy Abunaway, that was the play of his career, popping that ball free there, and DHC wasn't perfect on the defensive side of the ball, but our safeties have not been. But no, I'm a big fan. I talked about it on BHL. I think he's a cornerstone piece of your defense moving forward at that position. I mean, I want to put, you heard Roquan Smith. Roquan Smith isn't talking bullshit when he's telling the media that he's the hardest working player on the team. That's who he is. And you want your team built with guys like that. Yeah, you want to have the top end talent that's just fucking amazing. Like a guy like a Roquan or like a Justin Fields or a Khalil Mack. But the foundation of your team are guys like DHC, DeAndre Houston Carson, that's going to go above and beyond and put in the work, that doesn't have the fucking heavy wallet weighting him down and sitting on the hood of the fucking Bentley at the gas station doing Instagram videos like Eddie Jackson while you're whiffing on fucking, simple tackles in an NFL football game. So it's a good one. Claudio.
Listen, in honor of Phil, this probably would be his beer up. I'm going to go with David Montgomery coming off of his injury.
Yeah.
He only had 13 carries. He almost averaged 5 yards a carry. This dude's obviously a beast. We all know that. But it was just awesome to see him out there running hard, making plays and doing what he does. And so I'll keep it short. That's it. He's the dude's. Khalil Herbert
calling
looked great.
out Phil, and you're keeping it short. Goes hand in hand.
I'll keep it. Well, exactly. I didn't say I was going to be like Phil. I said an honor of Phil. But no, I mean, Khalil Herbert, obviously, he looked great. But this is David Montgomery's job. He's the number one, RB number one. There's no question. And he showed it. So David Montgomery's my bear up for week 9.
Jackal.
Keeping it real easy. Larry Borum is my bear up. We talked about it earlier. There's no need to really go back into the details, but he dominated against Bosa, and he dominated against the guy whose name I just forgot again. Watt. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Watt, yeah. So Larry Borum is my bear up.
Yeah, man, I can't really go against.
I think that's the 100 crew too. There, a lot of people are saying Borum in the chat.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that's this isn't just the Justin Fields show. You want to see the progression go forward with Larry Borum. It's going to be interesting to see this 21-day window as it opens up for Tevin Jenkins to see how he progresses. Yeah, Cole Cometh is another one that could have got it, and I know he's been like
Mooney. Obviously, we all know Mooney could have got it.
Yeah, and I mean, he had the 2 touchdowns. Yeah, Claude, I can't believe you didn't go there with your guy.
Switch it up.
Yep, but no, Cole Cometh's another one. I think you're gonna see that progression with Justin Fields. That little tidbit of them walking off the field of, hey, let's build off of this. That shit matters, and these are your last 2, high draft picks, Cole Cometh and Justin Fields. And if they're building that bond, they should have been getting all fucking offseason. If the Bears had a clue, at least they're getting it in season. And it was a big night for Cole Cometh the other night, and he needed it. And what did he finish with? 86 yards, I think, receiving. Is that what it ended up? But he had some. Yeah, he had some nice routes and
87.
87.
6 catches, 87 yards.
Yeah. Perfect. So so that's bear up. Claude's not doing his
No, I am doing my job.
Shout out Tape Never Lies. Shout out, I know you hear me, baby. Shout out, I know you
see me, baby, shout out. We gotta holla at you, keep it 100 crew. Gotta show love too, shout out. I know you hear me, baby, shout out. I know you see me, baby, shout out. We gotta holla at you, keep it 100 crew. Gotta show love too. From the fans in the stands to the follows on the gram. Thanks for your support, showing love in the DM. We stay Spencer strong, fight together till the end. Now it's time to shout out worldwide friends and fam. Like
the network that keeps it real, 100 crew. So many in the world that I gotta show love to. For some this part, see the show is at its end. But for me it's so important to thank the charter members and the fans. Built the network, speak the truth through the tape. Never run around the truth, no narratives we create. Set them straight, no bubble screen on 4th and 8. Claudio and Shayne getting nervous cause keeping them up too late. That's it, no more to say to get the shot of vital. But hurry up cause the postman's getting homicidal. Shout out,
I know you hear me, baby, shout out. I know you see me, baby, shout out. We gotta holla at you, keep it 100 crew. Gotta show love too, shout out. I know you hear me, baby, shout out. I know you see me, baby, shout out. We gotta holla at you, keep it 100 crew. Gotta show love too.
The network that keeps it real, Spencer Strong.
Claude's favorite part.
Just
let me put this up here.
That's
Rob
one of my
James.
favorite songs. It just doesn't end the right way.
Rob James. Yeah, I see. You said you want to donate to this platform because we're all really good. We don't have the super chat button in here. That's not what we do on this. But if you want to do it, make the jump over to our Patreon channel. You can sign up for that at www.thetapeneverlies.com. Sign up over there. You get expanded TTNL coverage, pop-up shows over the weekend that are breaking down the offensive and defense. You get, expanded NFL draft coverage. We're going to be obviously talking about that a lot this offseason, but if you want to make that jump, there's a ton of people in the chat that are already patrons. $7 a month. Check it out for 30 days. And if it's something that you don't like, then you're not required to stay. But I think you'll love everything that we offer over there. And everybody in the chat that is a TTNL patron, I think will vouch for us at this point. We've been doing this for just a little bit over a year now. And we're pushing 12,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is a testament to everybody here on this panel and everybody behind the scenes. Helping out this network, but the TTNL All Access, as Centino said right there, the best $7 you'll ever spend. We want to keep the price point as low as we could because listen, we're not looking at this to, feed our families off, but we invest a lot of our own money into things that we do here to put out the product that we do, and a lot of time, a lot of effort, and hours away from our family to do stuff like this. So we think that the $7 price point was something that we could work with that could let us buy equipment and editing software and stuff like that along the way. So we do appreciate all of our patrons, and like I said, that we understand that times are tough, and $7 can go a long ways towards something else. But if you can swing it, we do appreciate it. And head over there to, like I said, if you want to throw up that banner on the bottom for them so they can see, it's www.thetapeneverlies.com. Should only take you a couple of minutes to sign up, and I think you'll love all the total access that you get over there with us each and every week. So we appreciate all the support.
Yeah. And the black lady, her name is Cherie. Just so you know, Cherie, Lady Bear.
Yes. Yeah. And she will be coming up in our shout outs, I think, pretty soon.
Oh, yeah.
Turn that down just a little bit. Oh, I screwed that up. Yeah, you can flip that around, Claude. That was my bad. I hit the wrong button.
All right, good. All right.
Yeah, go ahead. So, Jackle. Christopher Jackle, Mr. No V-neck tonight. Pissing Mr. Braggs off, I think.
Think so,
Look
yeah.
at that guy, yeah. Throw out some shout-outs there, whoever you want, and we'll let you go.
Thank you,
Go
Shane.
ahead.
You know, shouting out the three of you, you know, however that goes, you know, for taking time out this evening. Shouting out Mr. Atoshin, Draft Dr. Phil. Hope you're feeling better, my guy. You know, I know Claudio blurts out HIPAA violations and talks about what's going on with Phil. So good job, you know, but nonetheless, you know how much this show means to him and everybody else, but especially him. This guy bleeds TTNL when he cuts himself shaving, if he even shaves, I don't know. He uses Manscaped, so I don't think he has to worry about that. So go ahead and get yourself one for 20% off, Shy City Sports. But no, in all seriousness, I'm shouting out anybody and everybody that needs a little positivity in your life. Send it to someone. Just text, phone call, email, smoke signal, pass a joint, whatever it is. Send someone some love. It's much needed. You never know who may need it more than somebody else. So there you go. That's my shout out.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I did see PJ, you're asking about the TTNL Patreon. Yeah, if you sign up, it's going to charge you the $7 immediately. That'll give you complete access through the end of November. You know, and it's like I said, but you're not tied in. It's not if you want to do it for the end of the month and you decide it's not for you, then you're out $7 and you're free to go at your will. But like I said, I think once you get in there, you'll love everything that we do, and it doesn't stop during, you know, and once the season is over, the TTNL All Access actually expands. I mean, the draft coverage, free agency, and this is kind of our showcase show during the week that we do for free for the public, and we do BHL. That's probably our biggest driver of promotion of this network. On Sundays, we go live immediately after every Bears game. It doesn't matter if it's done at midnight or 1 a.m. We go live immediately after. PJ, yeah, this is something that we've talked about, just to keep it 100. When we first started the $7 price point, there is people that are going to be grandfathered in at the $7 price point. If you had signed up by December 31st, 2020, you were a charter member. But again, like I said, if the price goes up, it's not like it's gonna double in price. You know, if it goes up, we'll push it to, you know, $8, $9, and even at that, like I said, just check it out for the $7. We're not going to change the price anytime soon. So check it out for the rest of the month and see if it's for you. And I think you'll be really happy that you did, because one of our great shows that we do every week, breaking things down, is called X's with the O's. The O's is after Phil Atoshin, his Hall of Fame father, coached football, and we take you right down to every detail, and there's no question that's a dumb question. If you want to know what any football term means, if you don't know what a penalty is or what it is, everything is on game. It's literally taking you behind the scenes in the classroom and showing you the Matt Nagy can't find the fucking Y's. We show you the Y's on tape with the All 22. Barrelissimo is a part of the X's with the O's, and it's amazing. If you love football and you love Chicago Bears football, I think you're gonna be really impressed. And like I said, when we move on to the off season, we do draft mob, and we'll have you completely prepared for the draft. That's for sure. So for $7, I think it's well worth the price. And if in the future, if it shoots up to $8, $9, $10, I think it's still a sound investment financially for anybody. But not to step on you, Claude, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's all good.
Can I step in real quick?
Yeah, sure.
I completely forgot, and I just want to say tomorrow is, and it's Claude, if you're going to bring it up, tomorrow.
Yeah,
tomorrow's Veterans Day, so I just wanted to say to all our retired and well, just to all our servicemen and women across the world.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate what you do for our country, the sacrifices that you make, and just wanted to throw that out. I forgot to put that out there.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're an asshole.
I apologize, Claudio, but hey, you can still. Hey,
no.
Proceed.
No. A shout out, obviously, Phil. Hope you feel better. Cherie, thoughts are with you. And my girls, my daughters, I love you. But yeah, the veterans tomorrow, 30 minutes. It'll be, Veterans Day technically, but we should always obviously thank the veterans. But thank you for everything you do, and we can do this stupid show and watch football and all that shit. So that's it.
Caden Whitlow.
I'll shout out Phil. It's good to get a night off for him.
He
sucks
deserves it.
what he's doing though. Sucks what condition he's in, but shout out everyone on the panel here. Shout out the Veterans Day tomorrow, all the veterans and active service people, and shout out everyone in the chat. Another good show. Yeah, on the show.
Yeah, good, man. I'll keep mine short as always. I don't know if there's any new listeners that aren't familiar with everything that's been going on. The Spencer Strong, Riley Strong segment. Riley is my son, 10 years old, was battling cancer over the summer and beat it. Had a clean PET scan here a couple of weeks ago. So we're, still breathing that sweet air with our victory every single day. He's been involved back in school and really thriving. It's been great for him to get, incorporated back to some normalcy, getting to see his buddies every day and dragging his ass out of bed and listening to him complain when I drive him to school every day. It's part of growing up. So, but he's been doing great. But the other side of the strong argument, Spencer Strong, Spencer's still fighting his battle. Ryan and Aaron Cox are always in our thoughts and prayers. Spencer, I haven't had the chance to meet him personally, but I think about him, multiple times each and every day. The kid is the strongest person I've ever been associated with. Like I said, my son fought this battle, and he looked up to Spencer each and every single day for inspiration, because Spencer Cox is a hero. You talk about, Veterans Day and our heroes in the military, and I hold Spencer Cox in equal regard, because what that child, what that little boy faces each and every day is a testament not only to his family and the strong bond and love and compassion that they supply him in each and every day. It's a testament to his will as a young man, to go out. Ryan shared a video with us the other day of Spencer. They were having, I believe, a fence put up in their backyard, and it was great. Spencer's sitting down on the floor, just looking out the window, laughing his ass off at the workers. Ryan's like, I have no idea what he's laughing at, but you hear your little boy that's really battling each and every day. You hear him sitting down on the floor and laughing. You don't really know what he's laughing at, but man, it's such a wonderful sound that he's getting some enjoyment out of something like that. And Spencer, like I said, man, it's you don't know what I'm saying, and we haven't met, and we will, but you're a hero, and you always will be to this family. So we love you, Cherie. I know she's been dealing with some family stuff. Claude, you're my boy too. I know we always bust your balls here, but TTNL, when Phil and I started this, was always based on family first, and we've held true to that. I think everybody on this panel knows that. Anything comes up family, it's the show doesn't fucking matter in the grand scheme of things. If there's a family issue, then we address that head on as a family here. You know, everybody's got different things going on in their family, and I'm glad the battles that we faced this summer in my family, that I had you guys, and I knew if I needed to vent about anything, like nobody busts more balls than I do, but everybody knows when there's a time to be serious. And you know, I had some hard days along with, you know, what my son was dealing with, and just knowing that I had you, Jackle, you, Claudio, Caden, you know, Ron, G, Cool Kennedy, Phil, especially Cars, Ryan Cox, Cherie, you know, Chris Sandlin, everybody that's involved. If I'm missing your name, it's not that I don't love you, it's just that I'm an idiot. But you know, we built this network the right way, and you know, like I said, it's the military vets. Like I said, it's a huge part. I come from a military family. My dad was in the Army, so I know that life, and I know what goes into it, the commitment that it takes, the lifestyle that comes with it, with not having your dad around as much as you want, but knowing that he's making sacrifices for your family, and not just your family, but for all families, you know, fighting for your freedom and putting his life on the line. So I especially want to shout out my dad for doing that, and all of our patron service members, and anybody that's listening that is in the service. Yeah, George, I didn't forget you, I promise. You're always on my list. But no, TTNL, man, it's grown so fast over the past year, and like I said, it's a testament to what we do here. We're pushing 12,000 subscriptions. If you're not subscribed, please head over to our YouTube channel, Tape Never Lies, and subscribe. Set your alerts, because we go live. We do have pop-up shows sometimes that are not part of the patron side, but if you want to check out the patron side, like I said, www.thetapeneverlies.com. Sign up, $7, check it out. I think you'll be impressed. But with that being said, it's 11:36. I'm going to get you guys out of here. Keep your wives happy.
It's an early one.
Caden's got to put air in his blow-up doll. Have a little party on Wednesday night.
I got a test tomorrow. I gotta go to bed.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Calculus. What about studying, dude? What the fuck?
Oh, we do have...
I was doing it mid-show. I
Yeah.
was like sitting there half.
We can tell, bro. You're taking pictures of yourself.
Let me close out the show the way DDP wanted. I almost forgot about this. So,
oh boy,
he said that this was gonna work. So I have to see if I can go into brand and switch it over here to BHL. See what happens. All right, there it goes. It changed the background.
Oh, look at that.
But yeah, we're gonna send everybody out with a little DDP production. About what we feel should happen with this franchise. So you can remove the banners and remove the comments. And we thank you guys for coming out and hanging out with us for a little while, and enjoy the fire show. Here we go.
Fire Nagy. Fire Nagy today.
Let's keep it 100 now. Fire Matt Nagy. Get that bum out of here and his play scheme. And while you're at it, take Ryan Pace with you.
Fire Nagy. Number 2, fire Nagy. Number 3, fire Nagy.
Fire Nagy now.
Fire Nagy now. We on our way to Pittsburgh, and we hope to win that game. Thank you, TTNL. Hope you post this, and y'all have a good one. Peace, love.
Fire Nagy.
For the love of everything George Hallis, can we please fire Matt Nagy?
Fire Nagy now.
Come on, Bears. Do the right thing. Fire Nagy now.
Fire Nagy.
Fire Nagy right now.
Come on, CDC. Nagy, no good for the Bears.
Fire Nagy.
Fire Nagy.
Fire Nagy.
Fire Nagy.
Chicago, please fire Nagy.
Fire Matt Nagy.
He's had 2 first-round quarterbacks,
Fire Matt Nagy. Now.
2 playoff runs,
Fire Matt Nagy.
hasn't won a playoff game,
Fire Matt Nagy.
had ruined 1 franchise quarterback. I don't want to see Fields ruined.
Fire Matt Nagy.
Fire Nagy now. Motherfuckers.
By the way, Bears fans, let's get Nagy fired today. Well, tomorrow. Fire this man. Been too long in mediocrity. Time for a change.
Fire Nagy.
Bear down. I want to save one. We got to fire Nagy now. Fire Nagy.
Fire Matt Nagy.
Fire Nagy. Do it now.
Fire Nagy. Right now.
Fire Matt Nagy.
Fire Nagy. And do it now.
The proof is in the tape. The tape never lies. Fire Nagy.
Fire Nagy.
Get Matt Nagy up out of here, man. Fire Nagy. Fire Pace. Go ahead and send him an early Christmas present, which is a pink slip.
Fire that fuckhead Nagy.
Fire Nagy. And do it now.
Fire Matt Nagy.
Fire Nagy.
Fire Nagy now.
Yo, TTNL family, this is your boy Bullets. With a message for the collaboration crew. Fire Matt Nagy now. Because Lord knows I'm done with this guy.
Fire Nagy now.
Right now.
Now.
Fire Nagy now.
Yo, this is Mike off TTNL Network. Coming straight out of the region. Fire Matt Nagy. Fire him now. Hashtag sell the team. Bear down.
Fire Nagy.
Hey, even my boy Charlie here agrees. It's time to fire Nagy now. Right, buddy?
Save the Charter franchise. Fire Nagy now. Take Pace and Phillips with you. Carpools shall be allowed.
We've got one thing to say. Fire Nagy. Fire Nagy. Fire Nagy.
Fire Matt Nagy. Fire Matt Nagy. Woo! Bring it down. Fire Nagy. Fire Nagy. Fire Nagy. Matt Nagy. You're fired. Fire Nagy. Yeah.